Okay. So we are live right now. Usually try to wait for at least a couple people who we're going to watch, and then we will definitely get the show going. So hopefully we got two watching right now, so that's cool. It's a good thing. All right, cool. As long as we got a couple people watching. All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Age of Men podcast. I appreciate you guys for being here. Do hit that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed and make sure you guys chime in the chat and what we talk about today. A couple of days we're gonna be talking lots and lots of stuff. We're gonna be talking about liberal women being masculine liberal men. And we're gonna be talking
What
about
the?
we're gonna be talking about Candace Owens. We're gonna be talking about her. I guess she just got her YouTube account suspended for, of course, telling the truth. As what happens, when YouTube doesn't like you speak on certain things, they will either wipe your account away or they will censor you for weeks. I've been censored before for 7 days. One time I was censored for 2 weeks, which was crazy.
We're not questioning you, YouTube. We love you. We love you. Please just let us survive out here.
Yeah. Someone tell Susan to get her act together. And also, too, guys, if you guys haven't noticed, we also have a special guest with us today. If you guys don't know who this person is, you should really get to know who this person is. We have the one, the only, Layla, aka Propaganda Fluent. Appreciate you having you on. Wish you had sound effects to go.
I'm hearing it in my head. Is that?
So we appreciate you having you. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. We did arrive a little bit late, which is all good, but let's just jump right into it. So we was going to talk about, the liberal women who wanted a liberal masculine man, but I kind of want to touch on the Candace Owens stuff because I think that's something that we should talk about. I have my take on it, but I do want to kind of dive deeper into it. So as we all know, Candace Owens actually just had a tweet. I'm going to actually pull this tweet up right now. It's a very long tweet, so I guess we can kind of just dive into it paragraph by paragraph, if you will. So it is a very, very long tweet. But
And it just came out right now, right? More or less? Hot off
about an hour ago.
Yeah, about an hour ago.
Oh, you get it here first on Age of Men, folks.
All right, so here is the story of today with Candace Owens. She tweeted out about an hour ago. Let me click on what she had to say. This is her very long tweet. I mean, it looks longer on the phone, but it's not that long, I guess. So essentially, YouTube has suspended Candace Owens, and here's what she has to say. I wish I could do my impression of Candace because I know she talks really fast, but I probably can't even do it if I tried. So
I would love to hear you try sometime, by the way.
I know I probably can't. But here's what she has to say, and then we'll probably break it down, paragraph by paragraph. So she starts off by saying, "We don't know exactly what or who is the driving force behind globally sanctioned lies." I think
yes, we do.
I think some of us might know. So
Instant
that's
shade.
Yeah, that already is kind of like we don't know who or what exactly. I think some of us know, but Candace probably doesn't even want to go that far.
I think it's smart for her to beg the question there. Actually, the more I think about it, it's smart. Gets people to dive into it. It's like, well, we can't say it for sure, but
yeah. I mean, I'm going to be more on the other side of that. I think Candace does know. She just doesn't want to.
I definitely don't know. She's begging the question intentionally. Like, I think it's not a bad move. Interesting flip.
And plus, conservatives always have to act brand new. Like, I can't believe they would do this. How is this happening?
Yeah. So she says, but what we do know is that over the past 5 years, the prevailing lies of the day have shifted dramatically. It was Black Lives Matter in 2020 when corporations, governments, and Hollywood were lockstep flying blackface flags and encouraging people to donate their money as a penance for the sin of being born white. So she is correct on that one. In 2020, not the George Floyd situation, because you got to think, 2020 didn't really hear nothing about that. 2019, I would argue that was actually a better year for all Americans. Lower taxes, people bringing home more money. Some people have their thoughts, on Trump.
But Trump didn't do anything. He was just having money and
Pre-COVID,
stable
Trump
economy and peace. Oh no,
he was winning undeniably pre-COVID for everyone. Even people that were huge skeptics of him
Why couldn't
couldn't
he
deny
just
it.
stop the whole the greatest global psyop on the history of humanity? Why couldn't he just stop it?
Well, that's why they rolled it out, because Trump was too hard and too much, and they
I'm
had to
so
come up with a
upset
fake
with
virus to
him.
stop him.
Couldn't
Well,
he
it's his
just fire Fauci?
Yeah, I mean, it's Trump's fault. He had the virus come in. He called it China virus. Came from China. So
Not at all. It's
Trump-
not racist at all. It comes from
Trump and
China.
Santa Claus should have come down, literally just handed reparations, fired Fauci, and it would have been done. Boom.
Yeah.
Well,
Then they would have signed off on him.
He definitely had that platinum plan on deck, so he was waiting for that one. Like,
I'm waiting for that platinum plan. Anyway,
I have a plan in my back pocket. All you black folks, I got you.
Platinum plan, like a chain, like a grill. Show up. A platinum plan is here.
I got you covered. I got you covered. I'm at the next barbecue.
Julius, when you do your Trump impressions, go to the big screen, man. Get yourself on the big screen when you do your Trump.
He's like, I know you like gold. I know you like platinum. So,
where are you guys at with Trump?
It's like,
you still feel like he's your guy?
I'm Trump 2024. I'm Trump forever. Like, people are begging me to stop liking Trump, and I'm like,
my girl.
No.
I
like men who get, okay, let me say, I like men who do tangibles. Okay, tangibles are important. I don't want to hear all what you think you're going to do. I want to see what you're going to do. You did it, so you got my respect.
Layla, how about the grab by the pussy? Any thoughts on that?
First of all, okay, like, let me put my rage down. These people are literally pedophiles. Okay, number one. The majority of these people are satanic pedophiles. Him talking about how women in the entertainment pageantry will let men take advantage of them is not in any way shocking news. Like, the fact that we have a whole generation of women who have OnlyFans now that literally are prostitutes. Like, why is it him saying that women will let him do things? Somehow.
That's what's funny though. That's what's funny though. Is like they got mad at him for saying grab him by the pussy, but then it said, as you said, women have OnlyFans, so now men are digitally grabbing women by the pussy.
And the women are doing that to get the money out of the men. So what Trump was saying is, look, when you got money like I do, they let you walk up and grab them by the pussy.
100%. 100%. It's just the whole most ridiculous double standard.
It's obvious. That's so obvious.
Reactionary, stupid. It was off they act like he went to the podium of the White House, stood under like a gay flag in the center of the fighting match with the two American flags on the side flanking the gay flag. They act like he came and was like, I grab women by the pussy. Like,
call me controversial, but after I heard, I liked him even more after the grab him by the pussy comment.
First
He won me over even more with that one. I liked it.
I don't understand people at all, because it's like, there's nothing that I see wrong with Trump other than the fact that he's like a psycho guy. Like, who cares? Have you met men? Have you been around powerful men?
I mean, so I have my issues with him, but I'll just say this, is that the issue is that, and mind you, we know that what he said was nothing but the argument that the other side makes. They say, well, that's something that a president didn't say. But then you say, well, he wasn't president in 2005. It doesn't matter. And it's like, but he apologized. He went on camera and actually apologized. But it just, honestly, it doesn't matter. I actually want to show you guys a clip on that too, about trying to argue with the fool that doesn't want to accept realities. So he's been on camera apologizing. He said it back in 2005 when he wasn't president, when he was a Democrat.
2005? Are you serious? Off camera?
Yeah.
He wasn't even on camera.
Yeah. This was a private conversation while he was on the bus.
That he was being like covertly recorded. He didn't even know it. Having locker room talk. But again, I liked him even more after that.
There's Nick's Discord that would get me disbarred from, like, canceled forever for me saying in Nick's Discord. Like, what? And I'm not in, like, so people, why are we acting like this?
Well, get this.
So
if you watch that video, the person that was with him, what was his name? Billy Bush, the guy from Hollywood Access. He actually kind of set Trump up.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
He's like, oh wow, look at her, that chick with the legs, and Trump kind of went along with that, and then they had the conversation. I think he set Trump up. And that's something that never gets talked about. He set Trump up to say that specific line.
Well, he knew
So
it was recording. He certainly knew it. I'll tell you that much.
yeah,
Billy
so
Beta Blanks. And guess what? Again, though, I liked him even more after that. That was more my president than ever. And to Julius, what the haters are saying, it's not very presidential or whatever. That's why he's my fucking guy. Because he's not presidential. He's not like a rehearsed speech off of a page that he tells you one thing to your face and does the exact opposite behind your back. He says exactly what he thinks off the top of his head. And it might offend some sensitive people, but that's my dude. I love him for that very reason.
People would rather be lied to.
Nailed it.
they're comfortable with lies, so the truth makes them uncomfortable. I'm gonna go more back on the Candace Owens thing, but I just want to say my qualms with Trump is this, and it's not like a big thing, but it is an issue nonetheless that I think the right wingers don't ever want to address. One of the biggest things is that in 2019 he signed an executive order, the anti-Semite bill, which basically would prevent federal funding to college campuses if they were to basically like speak bad about the Jews and Israel and things like that, like discrimination, things like that. All falls under the Civil Rights Act. Somebody actually commented on that on my video and was like, they basically didn't care that Trump passed that executive order because they was like, what, you want Jews to get bullied? And it's like, I never advocated for that. I'm just saying that when you pass a speech law essentially against the American people for another country, that's not America first. That's taking care of that.
That's definitely a reasonable criticism. They're the only group of people that have a law that protects them from any sort of speech. So I hear that, but it's not enough like to overpower all the fucking awesome stuff.
Yeah, but Trump is the Republican Party, and so they make it seem like he's the party. DeSantis did it, Governor Youngkin did it, Greg Abbott did it. Greg Abbott was passed that bill because he thought that Gab would be anti-Semitic. Youngkin did the exact same thing. DeSantis went to Israel. He went to Israel to go pass a speech law against the American people. So I think that's a big problem that flies in the face of the First Amendment. I have a big issue with that because we don't have the First Amendment Constitution. So that's my problem with Trump that most right wingers don't want to even talk about. And that bothers me a lot because it's like a lot of these people are like to say, but they're Zionists, Turning Point USA. So I'm
careful, Julius.
Charlie Kirk's a big Zionist. I almost worked with the Turning Point USA. I almost had a job with them. I was like that close to getting the job with them, but it is what it is.
But they messed up, and now I still got him as my partner full time. Idiots.
But nonetheless, what I'm saying is that that's just my issues with Trump. I like Trump, I really do, but that's the problem. The vaccine was a problem. Him pushing it, him being tone deaf about the gain of function and things like that. The fact that he signed an executive order in 2019 for the task force for the modernized vaccines and whatnot. The fact that he didn't want to work with Robert Kennedy and listen to Bill Gates instead. I'm just saying that's just my qualm. Just like people don't talk about that. And I just don't know why nobody talks about that. We just kind of ignore it, kind of slip it under the rug. But if it was Joe Biden, if it was Hillary Clinton, if it was Barack Obama, if it was any of those people, everybody would say something. But because it's Trump, everybody's like, he's just not a perfect guy. He's not perfect. But if it was Biden, you'd be all over that. You'd be trying to get that dude. So you would be all over it. I don't know why for Trump, we just go, he's not perfect. I just don't get that. It's bizarre.
It's like when you're in love with your significant other so much that it's like, that's okay. Yeah, that's how I feel.
I tell everybody I would have released the vaccine. I would have done it myself because you had a choice. He didn't make it mandatory. Biden made it mandatory. And last time I checked, life is not easy. You're talking about war, so. Let's see, go into perpetual state of shutdown economy for 7 years, or get back to
get
work.
That shit out and let these idiots that want it.
He told people this could all be over. He literally said that in April, this could all be over, and people said, no, we don't want that. We don't want it to be all over. We want the vaccine. And so he was like, all right, here you go.
Well, and that's the problem. That's the problem I also have too, is that Trump went along with the 15 days to slow the spread, and then when he wanted to open up after Easter Sunday, he listened to Fauci, and then he went from 15 days to 30 days, and then it's that to 45 days. Yes, he left it up to the states, but he gave my governor money. he gave my governor money, and he praised Gavin Newsom because he's like, Gavin Newsom, he likes me, and he even came here to Sacramento. So it's like he gave him money. He gave Governor Cuomo money, and he bragged that those guys were the best guys. Now Trump is in the same CNN talking points that was said back in 2020 when it came to the COVID. He's basically saying, maybe it might be political strategy, but he's basically saying that Cuomo was doing the best job during COVID. When we all know that Cuomo was putting sick patients in nursing homes. So why is Trump now saying Cuomo did better job than DeSantis when it came to COVID, when Cuomo did the worst job, in my opinion?
Well, guys, this is a hot button issue. It's popular. What about the indictment? Layla, you got any thoughts on that?
I think that it's just making him the underdog again. But maybe we should get back to the.
Yeah, sure. I can talk about Trump all day, guys. Stop.
No,
Yeah.
I always
This
have
is
my.
for the Discord. This is for Discord. You guys need to be on the Discord.
Good luck. Good luck.
But nonetheless, I still like the guy. I just had to point it out. But anyways,
I love him. No homo.
But to go back to Candace Owens, though, but I think essentially all this does ties in, because it just even ties in with Trump. And Nick, I'm glad you mentioned the indictment, because all of this I think ties in. So real quick with the Trump indictment, from this right here. With the indictment, we know that it's a political witch hunt. We know that for a fact. So that's one thing that I would stand with Trump on, because they're always trying to pin him with something. Russia collusion, the Ukraine stuff, Stormy Daniels. They're always trying to get him with something, and yet they can never.
Teflon Don, baby. They can't stick nothing to the guy.
That's what I'm saying. So that's where I stand with Trump on, because it's like you guys are trying to pin this dude. What you're trying to do, you're trying to prevent him from running again because you're scared. I'm telling you, 2019, that was a fantastic year. Everybody, I don't care if you're liberal, whatever, people were happy. People were happy at that time. People were getting jobs. He's one of even
the biggest skeptics that couldn't help but admit he's doing a lot of good for me today. Like at this point,
facts, man. I met a lot of people who were liberal. It's like, I didn't like Trump, but my uncle is bringing home more money, and I was like,
I'm countless. Nobody could deny it at that point. He was killing it undeniably across the board for pretty much everybody.
Yeah. So okay,
that's why they created COVID, to stop that. By the way, did I say it? I'm saying. I'm just kidding. Fauci out. You fucking losers listening.
Nah, forget Fauci.
CDC and everybody spying on us.
Fauci caused AIDS. We all know that. So
Fauci's that.
Okay, so now with more Candace Owens, right? So again, Candace Owens talking about her getting her account suspended, about the lies that were told, the Black Lives Matter. Then she also, Nick, you bring up COVID. She said, then the lies switched rather dramatically to COVID. People were encouraged to mask up, avoid family members, roll up their sleeves, and submit a safe and effective vaccine via a global sponsored lie that it will protect them from getting the virus. Of course, both of these tremendous lies fell apart with time, which is true, because the media eventually had to address the Black Lives Matter fraud, and they had to address the fact that people who were getting COVID were those who had the vaccine. And then she says the corporation of Black Lives Matter was revealed to be fraudulent, which was what I was just saying, siphoning money away from well-meaning citizens in order to enrich non-Black Americans, of course, because we all know that their money.
They did what?
Yeah, I know. Got it. Yeah, their money.
What is this, like 3,000 for Black politics movement? Like literally, like never getting money. Like, what did they get? I think they got the Tuskegee experiment. That's about it. For all their campaigning, it's like
you can count on one hand what they've gotten in value from any of this stuff.
Literally, but you know what? They got a hug and
a pat on the back. You're doing great, buddy. Don't you worry about it.
We recognize that you're not shit.
No, you're doing just fantastic. As they pat him on the back and then kick him out with nothing.
Again, tangibles. Can we recognize tangibles, people? Tangibles.
Well,
it doesn't matter what anybody says.
Yes. Talk is cheap and lies are expensive, as they said.
Yeah, the one thing that always got me with the whole, the vaccine stuff. Look, when they said you can get Krispy Kreme donuts in order to get the vaccine, I was like, how can you have to be naive to not know what the heck is. I mean, they offer Krispy Kreme, they offer chicken, they offer you all the unhealthy stuff, and say if you eat this and you get that, get you the vaccine. It's like, wait a
Bro,
minute, what?
it's survival of the fittest at that point, man. I have no sympathy for some yucks that fucking
That's
get sold by that. See you later.
exactly. At that point, it's in God's hands. I was like,
Yes.
if your spirit doesn't tell you, if your own guardian angel isn't watching out for you, then what am I supposed to tell you?
I can't save stupid.
Like,
I'm not gonna save stupid.
you know when there's a clip in The Simpsons when Homer's doing something so ridiculous. I mean, I'm dating myself with this, but Homer's doing so ridiculous, and his brain is literally like, I'm out of here. I can't deal with this, and he just drops dead. It's like, if that's what it is, then it is what it is.
Literally.
Okay, so then Candace Owens also says, but various transgenders as well as the BLM founders, close circle of many friends and family. Today, the new and perhaps most insidious, globally agreed upon lie is that individuals can choose or magically switch their genders, which we know has been super double down. I mean, it's like quadruple double down now. This is why is this lie the most insidious, other than its frightful illumination of Western idiocracy or idiocy? It's the most insidious because it targets children specifically. If it needs reminding, there exists no world and certainly no cultural moment in which I become a buck that can be broken. Just as with the previous globally sanctioned lies, I will in no way submit to it. Like in the previous globally perpetuated circumstances, me and those who stand against it will be maimed and curated in the media. And then, just like in those previous circumstances, the few of us with the courage to stand against the tides of pop fiction will be vindicated, because in the end, truth wins. And she's right. And that's something that I want to dive into more with you guys, because that is a big problem right now. I remember when my daughter was telling me that her teacher was teaching about LGBT, and I was like, well, what does it have to do with anything? Like, what are you guys learning that for? What is the significance of learning that? And I was just blown away, because these, here in California, they passed a bill back in 2019 to allow masturbation and LGBT to be taught in schools.
Like, is there an age limit, or just any schools? They can teach that in elementary school now?
I think it was for all schools for K through 12, or maybe I think K through 12. And
Doesn't shock me, but Jesus.
Yeah, I mean now we have a bill that's Scott Wiener. Remember I was saying about Scott Wiener, that name alone?
What a troll name. That guy's a fake actor or something. You know what I mean?
Well, he's super gay, and he's definitely a groomer for sure. If YouTube wants to cancel me, listen, he's a groomer. I don't care what anybody says. So he passed a bill to where, or not passed a bill, he's trying to pass a bill to make it law where if you don't affirm your child's transition, you can get charged with child abuse.
How about I affirm my child to grow up without having to think about anything gender until they get through puberty?
Yeah.
That's such a controversial spot to be at.
Real quick, Nick, I'm going to touch on that, but real quick, Layla, not to reveal your location, but are you in my area? Are you on my side?
I'm in LA.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Wow, interesting. So we understand what it's like when they pass these crazy psychopathic bills. It's
you guys are on the far side of hell over there, it seems like, from here.
Dude, so I posted today in California that they're trying to they just sent it. It's a bill, SB 729. They wanted pass a bill to provide coverage for essentially homosexuals to get surrogates, to use women as surrogates in order to have babies. Like, they want to provide coverage.
They're going to pay for that?
I love it.
The taxpayers are going to fund this endeavor?
I love it. I love women. Someone, I just want to do a quick tangent. Anybody who says that women, came up with feminism and they launched this whole thing, I don't know about you, but I don't think women are that smart.
Hot take!
Because if you look at what the hell is going on with women right now, you're not even going to be able to go to a locker room without seeing her penis flinging around. I don't think women, they're not thinking that far ahead. So I doubt it. I feel like it was the CIA. I feel like there's a lot of people, but it was
hot take, Julius. That's something we covered on our show.
Yeah. Well, So she's not wrong about that, because I posted a clip on Instagram. I have to like search to find it, but it was basically this clip of a woman who used to write for the magazine, and she was basically saying that the reason why you had these sexual liberations, there are these two dudes. I forget what their names are, so forgive me for not having that information. But these two dudes were basically encouraging the sexual liberation in order to get women to go to towards abortion. So essentially, it was men that encouraged women to have sex like that, so they can
Look
have
at
babies.
feminism.
All
Feminism.
this. Mhm.
Okay, we know that leftists, the number one thing they do is what's called inversion. They flip whatever they're going to do is the opposite of it. They say that they're for love and peace and equity and respect. It's the opposite, obviously. It's for total control, authoritarianism, pain, and suffering. So feminism, they put that label on it. Then they can do everything that benefits men. Now suddenly, men get what they want with very minimal effort. We know what it is. They get that for free. They don't have to support you. They don't have to take care of you. You can be run through by them. You need to be out here working. You need to be out here doing this, doing that. Yeah, so men can put dresses on and come be in your space with you and kids.
Sports,
So
bathrooms,
long
spas.
story short, nothing about it benefits women. Women needed basic rights, but they were already getting it, and it was already moving toward that. But there's a such thing as overcorrection.
They got the basic right to go work and slave away at a shitty dead-end job like a man. It doesn't seem like a good end of the deal.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I would give
Like,
that up.
unless
I would
he-
go happily be a housewife if I could take that deal.
Literally, unless he's beating you, look at all of Arab culture. Are those women like running into the street? No, most of them are going to restaurants and like staying at home with their families and chilling out. It's not like the Holocaust every freaking day.
I'm
Like,
glad you guys are saying that. I have something to show you guys. I actually I saved the video because I just saw this today, and I was like, this would be perfect to talk about. About the whole going to work and things like that. So Pharrell, I don't know how long ago this interview was, but there's an interview with Pharrell, and he talks about how great women are. But I want you to listen to what he says, and then we're going to break down sentence by sentence what he said. So this is a video here. Let me pull it up.
While you're pulling that up, bro, Layla and I covered a topic. It was an article where this biological male transitioned and became a female, but didn't really do anything to themselves physically to be transitioned. They just claimed it. They went in the YMCA locker room with like 5-year-old girls or something like that, minors, exposed their little wiener to these girls, got arrested for that, as they should have. But get this, bro. The charges were dropped by the judge because he concluded that their giant freaking fupa of fat obstructed their little dick from anybody's vision, and therefore no indecency, no public exposure.
Has to be the
This is a
biggest
real
troll of
fucking
all.
article, bro.
she exposed her.
Oh yeah,
Okay? Stunning and
her
brave.
little dick
Stunning and brave, please.
was so obstructed by her fat fupa that
You don't want to get banned.
the charges got dropped, bro. Hey, we didn't see no dick out here. Your fat obstructed it. You're good to go. Go get in front of those little girls again right now if you want.
You fat. Yeah, that's got to be the biggest.
She fat, Julius.
Yeah, sorry, she fat.
Please don't misgender.
Wait, no, he's. I don't even know. He, she, it. It's fat.
We don't want to misgender people because that will get your channel taken down. Okay, so
we're not trying to misgender. We're just so confused by your guys' logic. I can't keep up anymore. Is it a he or she?
Just say the person.
That fat lord. That's not a gender specific term, right? That fat.
Yeah, that's just imagine like a person who was traumatized and then read the article that said that person was too fat.
Bro, imagine right back in the locker room thinking, oh, thank God he got arrested, and he rolls back in a couple hours later.
He goes,
okay.
Off, bro. I'm allowed to be here with you.
Yeah. Before we should close up the Candace thing before we go to the next clip.
True.
Okay.
What would we do without Layla? We need her as our third wheel.
So was there a video that Candace did?
No, she was just on YouTube Live, but basically, you guys, we're turning into Canada. They're ready. They're working overtime. So basically, in America, they have to create the cultural acceptance before they can pass the law. Whereas in other countries, they just need to pass the law, and the culture better get on with it, or they're already so bitch made, they're going to do it anyway, whatever it says. So that's what we're seeing. They're shoving it down so hard. Companies are willing to sacrifice profits for it with the whole, agenda pushing. That's what they have to do. And we have to, at this point, keep saying, like I have on my Twitter, plugging my Twitter, Propaganda Layla, you can't don't let them change your language. It is what it is. You don't have to preface anything. You don't have to be, biological. No. What's wrong with you? Like, you guys need to, everybody needs to check in with their ancestors. Go sit down with somebody from 1643, figure out how to not give a fuck, and just keep it moving. Like,
if you need lessons, hit this guy up. I'm an expert at it.
Stop with this. Stop with this. Oh, but I'm gonna say biological male. What does that mean? That means nothing.
Are you worried about your pronouns? I don't respect any bit of you, let alone your pronouns that are made up and asinine and wrong.
It doesn't matter.
I don't respect your pronouns, your made up world. No.
When they can change our language, they can destroy our perception of reality.
Facts.
And when they destroy our perception of reality, they can say bad is good and good is bad. And that is the problem.
That's why Jordan Peterson said, the reason Jordan Peterson, who I respect a lot, got famous originally out of anonymity is because he refused to allow his speech to be compelled by law. And the reason he made such a strong stance, he's an expert studying tyranny, tyrannical governments. He's like, that's always the first step towards tyranny is compelled speech.
Well,
I'm not going to compel these nuts.
I mean, it's also biblical too. When you look at, I believe, Isaiah 5:20, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. So, you know what I mean? So all this is all biblical, man. It's all there. But you're right, Layla, is that you guys remember back in the day when they had the 3%ers, the ones that made a big difference? That's what it seems like nowadays, but the opposite effect with the LGBT. They have a small percent who's making the loudest noise, and yet they're now, and mind you, it's June. So they're going to go in on more than they did even last year. They're going to go in on this. June last year, it was the quote-unquote Pride Month, but they also had the Roe v. Wade happen. So that kind of stifled the LGBT. And now that that's not happening, now they're going full-blown just everywhere with LGBT to the point of selling tuckwear for kids. So this is what I mean. And so it's like they're doubling down on this because they want it in your face in every show, every commercials now. Commercials are basically advertising big pharma pills that say essentially have homosexual have sex, gay men have sex, but here's this pill to take it so you don't catch this. So now it's like all the big pharma stuff.
So take it in the butt with a clear mind. Don't worry about that.
Right, but that's what
have at it.
It seems like these pharma commercials are leaning more towards homosexuals. You know what I mean? Like to encourage the act of sex between same sex. So again, they're pushing it down. Commercials, TV shows, movies, billboards, Pride Parade. The Biden administration just put out today that they're protecting the LGBT. And one thing that they say that they're trying to protect is celebration of Pride. Like, what?
Something just dawned on me, man. Pride Month is also the month that they decided to give men's mental health.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? June is men's mental health awareness. But
and it's also Pride Month for the faggots.
We choose to not address that when it comes to the T's of the world.
Hey, Layla, tell Julius about the success of your boys out here doing work, man. If your boy has anything to do with it, the LGBs and the T's ain't going to be a thing together anymore. The T's are going to get cast off, and the LGBs will just be the gays.
That's definitely getting cut off. More and more people are not happy about that.
I started the movement. I'm out here championing for you gays.
So how you mean?
I make the argument on TikTok, and it's been a super hot. Like every time I do it, it's huge. LGB should drop the T, and it just seems to me from the outside. I don't care what you do, whatever behind closed doors, none of my business, frankly. But if I were you guys on the gay side, I don't see a whole lot of upside attaching myself and dying on the hills of these trans movements. Because there's no way mainstream society is going to accept all this indoctrination on the kids. You gays have all your rights now that anybody else has. If I were you, I would jump off the trans train before it crashes into the village. Because it's going to crash. It's not going to get through the village.
Can we just focus on the fact this is like, okay, this is also needs to be on a Discord conversation, and I need to host this at some point soon, so you guys better join this Discord. But
My girl.
this is there's a finite timeline for all of this because this is not sustainable. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
It's not sustainable. There's not going to be a 30-year, 40-year span of time. There's going to be a decade wheelchairs, hospitalization. Anyway.
No,
I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. So.
No, you're right. There was actually an article not too long ago where somebody identified.
We don't need to. We just need to keep okay. Just be like, you guys have your issues. Keep on floating along. Keep it. It's good. It's like you don't worry about the fireflies because you know they're not gonna be around for like 40, 50 years. You know.
I don't like that analogy.
I'm trying to keep it coded. because I don't.
It's like I'm not interested in what the moths are doing because the moths aren't going to live to see tomorrow for half the time, more or less. You know.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's not.
Let the moths.
It's not something that's going to be an issue very soon because it doesn't have a long shelf life.
They can't reproduce, so let the moths cut off their genitals and, wave them around the air for all I care. Just not in public in front of my kids or I'll destroy you.
I'm supporting it. Take all the things you need. Take all the stuff you want. Go faster. Go.
Amazing, Layla.
That's the thing. I study propagandists. People get upset because they think that I this good and bad. I'm like, bruh, I like the people who have done some really messed up stuff, and I think it's cool. So it is what it is to me. I'm like, so then release the hounds. I don't know.
So then a question for you, Layla, then is like, how would you combat what's going on with the whole LGBT? Like, how can people who oppose that kind of combat it in a way where they can shine a light on what's going on, or do they just say, whatever, screw it at this point, chop off your stuff, I don't care? Like, do we go to that point, or how do we combat that in your opinion?
No, what you do is you have to diminish its significance. You have to have a counter message. So when you double down, like for example, if you want people in college to stop drinking, you don't put up a flyer saying 5 out of 10 college students are driving drunk. You need to be careful. They're getting injured and things like that. You don't need to. You don't acknowledge and enforce this as a cultural norm. You say people are not doing this. Family is what's important. That's what's popular. You highlight and promote what you want people to do, because this is the thing. The number one problem is people think people have this sort of consciousness or intelligence or even a soul.
Brains, any semblance of an IQ, or yeah.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. When I say there's nothing there, there's nothing there.
NPC.
And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that because that's the reality.
They're just dumb as bricks. They're NPCs. They've got nothing going on.
Yeah, they're NPCs. They're highless beings. They're soulless entities. Okay. If it wasn't the fact they were born like that, it was the seed oils did it. So we need to tell the sheep, hey, you want to go up to a sheep and be like, hey, let me give you a complex argument so you can try to rationalize in your head. No, you bark at them to go in that direction or that direction. Right. And when you're barking at them, pointing them in the LGBT direction, be like, oh, look, all these people are doing this. Then they're, oh, okay. You do what Italy did, promote family. Do a whole parade on family. Then all of a sudden, who cares? Who cares? Like, okay, go over there, do your thing, and make it be like, okay, go, do whatever you want to do, fine. But guess what? It seems now more people are interested in having families and being sane.
What a crazy concept.
But conservatives are never going to do that because, everybody wants to be Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's like, oh no,
I get the whole LARPing situation now with the whole trans stuff. I would argue this is that I do hear what you mean. I do think conservatives should do stuff that, again, have family pride parades, whatever case you want to call it, family stuff.
Whatever
They
you
should
want
do
to
more. They should do more stuff like that. I agree. At least here in my area, people got scared because, for example, we had the vaccine rally, right? You had people show up and protest against that. Pro life rally, people show up and protest against that. Anytime there was a rally for anything that was patriotic, people would show up and protest against that. And it got to a point where Antifa was throwing Molotovs at elderly people, like trying to attack elderly people. Even when we had to stop the steal, BLM showed up with this bus and somebody put bear spray. I got hit with the bear spray and my eyes were stinging for
No, I'm not talking about protesting. It has to be insidious. It has to be it has to permeate every level and aspect of your life. It has to be so subtle you don't even know it. It starts, the protest is the last of the last of the last of the last step. It starts in an article that it starts on a TV commercial that's not even about whatever it is it's about. It's about, you see two men instead of a man and a woman or something. It's about having, those subtle priming. We've heard of priming. So that's the last step. And conservatives, again, they're reactionary. So they're always reacting at the very last stage. This stuff manifests.
Julius.
Well, yeah, the point I'm making to that, I wouldn't say that conservatives should do more protests. I was saying that it's because of those protests why it prevents them from doing anything else. Do you know what I mean? So I agree with you 100% because I always thought about that too. I think Nick and I talked about this off camera. We talked about this, and I was saying that conservatives do need stuff like that. We have to promote things on commercial. We have to start making movies, making TV shows that promote the things that we want to promote. We should have that. And I know Daily Wire has their movie set, but it seems like they only made one movie for Gina Carano. No offense to all that. I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying they have this movie set, but I've only ever seen something for Gina Carano and there's some other movie that they did, but not pushing anything else to like you got Matt Walsh combating what is a woman, but then if you watch his intro of that documentary, he shows his family. Why not make a movie around that versus going out?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, when you have it, okay, it's just like when you have a disease. You can think of propaganda and social manipulation just like you would see the evolution of some type of illness. When you first have the illness, you can just, let's say, drink some tea, get some rest, you can fight it. The flu won't come. But if you've been staying up for days, you've been beating the shit out of your immune system, you let it just sit there, you don't gargle, you're just like letting it grow and grow and grow, then you have to have surgery, then you have to have like heavy medication. So it's like once you let it develop and infest at that point,
complications arise.
Yeah, then you see, okay, then you have to do the what is a woman, then you have to do this and that. They didn't have to do that before because it was like dismissed early on. If someone came up with this ridiculousness, people are like, that sounds stupid, no. And it was just tossed aside. So, it's all about the timeline and how severe the case is. And we're just in the end stages of them frantically trying to pile on everything. So
Julius, you know what I do, man? I tell the LGBs that the T's ain't worth it, and I divide them from in-house, and your boys destroying them, letting them destroy themselves. Literally, I have gay people coming on. Over 50% of the gay people, I would say now, I'm always expecting some pushback on me. They're like, oh my God, somebody's finally saying it, thank you. They're literally calling me like a champion for the gays. And the way I'm championing for them is telling them they should ditch the T's.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's the T's. All this is more too. It's the Q, the plus, all the other stuff. It's everything after.
I'm Two-Spirit, by the way.
Everything, that's all nonsense.
I'm Two-Spirit, by the way. So if anybody wants to call me like homophobic or some in any way,
Doa.
Two-Spirit. So.
Doa, I think is her name.
What's Two-Spirit? What's that?
So in me, I have two spirits. I have male spirit and I have a female spirit, and that is because I'm also part indigenous. So it's difficult to live with, but it's something you learn from.
So if you married Layla, you would be in a polygamous relationship.
And you would be gay.
And you'd be gay as fuck too, yeah. Don't forget that.
Holy moly, man. That's
Hey, I'm
That's
trans-vaccinated.
the ultimate
I'm
troll right
vaccinated.
Trans-vaccinated.
My pronoun's
there. Hey,
immunized. I feel immunized.
I have a question about that for you guys real quick. What do you guys, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get too deep into it, but what do you guys like think about that? Like the fact that people got like the vaccine and they want to have like children, like people, and there are those who didn't get it but want to date females. What do you guys think is going to be the long term effect of that? Like guys who are not vaccinated get with women who are vaccinated, but they don't find out till like afterwards. Is that like a
That should have to be revealed just like having an HIV or something, if you ask me.
I mean, that's a lot of shedding in the wrong place.
Bro, I'm not having sex with you. I mean, I'm not trying to. It is an STD to me, in my eyes, more or less. No thanks.
Yeah. I mean,
again, who are the ones who are like frantically trying to push everybody to do it? Women. Again.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, okay, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be a pick-me, okay? I'm just saying this because we have to be realistic.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
To be realistic.
You guys ever heard of jizz coin?
Men are dumb in a lot of ways, and they make really dumb decisions, like decide to constantly like go into war all the time for no reason, literally. That's called being emotional and irrational, and it's dumb. But women are not over here projecting into the future, figuring this fucking shit out. Okay, they're not. They're not coming up with these elaborate strategies. They're just, pushing what feels right. It's like, no, it feels dumb.
Well, ladies, if you know what's good for you, unvaccinated sperm is the next Bitcoin. Jizz coin. Invest early and often, ladies. What investment can you make that's guaranteed to increase in value over time? The more people get vaccinated, the more we're worth. Come on, come with us into the future. The future's coming.
I mean, they're trying to push, the ZX. They're trying to push that. Matter of fact, even what happened in New York with the whole Blade Runner 2049 situation that just happened. They're talking about putting the mask on to protect yourself, and so they're trying to normalize that again.
I wasn't even there. This is how serious the climate change is. I was not even in New York, and I put my mask on. Okay, you guys, I was wearing my mask totally 100%.
Did you wear two? Did you wear two?
I was wearing two. Okay, I was, but that's how serious it is. Like I wasn't even there, and I was wearing the mask.
In the car alone, were you wearing it? Because that's like wearing a condom alone in bed.
Yes.
Especially
in the car.
Too? Especially.
Dude, the car protects you. What are you talking about? The car protects you. Windows up.
No, you gotta have your back. You can never be too careful, Julius. Keep that on. Keep that mask on in the car alone.
Make sure you wear the surgical mask, and make sure the tint on the sides is like real high up, so it's like just like air gap. Make sure it's like that, because then you're protected.
I have one like that. I wear to bed every night. You can't be too safe these days.
The virtue that you are displaying.
I wish we never had to take our masks off. There should be laws that just say all day, every day, mandatory. That you can't be too safe. Especially with such a dangerous virus, man. Look at the stats.
I love breathing in my own bacteria.
Constantly. I love it. I'm starting to love it. The taste of my own stale breath, love it.
Constantly, nonstop.
It's pretty tasty.
I don't trust people unless you have a very promoted ring of like bacterial infection around your mouth, signifying that you have been trapping all of that dirt in your face. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you.
And you know what? The best part is, if you're a single male or something, for instance, and you're out in society, you never get to see women's face ever. It just works really well for everybody.
But that's good because you're low-key not really into women anyway.
I can't tell if she's frowning or bitching at me or smiling. Either way, in my head, I just pretend I'm happy and she's happy.
But you're low-key not into chicks anyway. It's fine.
She's talking a lot of shit right now, but I can't see it behind that thing. It's an advantage,
You guys
don't know, don't hurt us.
You can pretend it's Paul from work.
No, that's right, Layla. You get me.
Paul from work.
He gets you, and she doesn't.
You guys remember when they were pushing that when they said that you can still have sex just wear your mask?
Yeah, that was the best. I was enjoying that.
Wait,
Like
what?
next level.
Yeah, in 2020, an article came out that you can still have sex as long as you have your mask on.
Don't worry
They
That
about
was
the
weren't
masking. The
good.
advocating
mask
for
is
condom.
important, kids.
They didn't advocate for condom, but they definitely said they
That's
had
what I'm saying,
protection.
bro. You can't make this up.
Protection.
That was really. I mean, that's important. At this point, I'm just gonna have a whole stream where I just troll it, where I'm just like, "This is correct." I'm gonna explain because it's like if you don't get it, because the robots don't know, they don't understand sarcasm.
You told that's brilliant. We should do that on TikTok Live, Layla. Let's just be trolls about it and have fun with it. That'd be a lot of fun.
And the humans can pick it up if they are human. So I
But the
don't know.
algorithms do that. They're saying all the right things. Approved. They're not going to censor us. Brilliant. I see what you're doing, lady.
Listen,
You know,
I'm autistic to spirit. I don't have the ability to use sarcasm.
I'm just a machine. I'm so smart that I don't know that they're mocking everybody.
For
someone said, well, "What about eating?"
That's my boy James. That's my homie that I
oh
hang
my
with.
god,
Dude, he did that on
so
purpose.
cringe, so cringe, so cringe.
I was gonna bring something up, but that comment totally threw me off.
Totally threw you off, James. You got him.
Somebody at the like I'm down in the offices in my building. Somebody was just like, as they
Nice.
like left the other way, and I'm sure they heard me talking shit. I was like,
There's amazing.
yeah,
Run away, freaks.
What if?
Say something.
Okay, I know that you and Nick were talking about like trolling, but what if we actually like we took a day like on IG or TikTok live, and we actually was basically advocating for like masks or vaccines, like what we fight the other side for, we actually like advocate for that. So, for example, right, I'm pro-life, or I'm basically an abolitionist for abortion. I want to get rid of abortion, right? But let's say I go on IG Live and I say, "My body, my choice. I believe in the women's right to choose," and I argue that, and the people who were opposite of me hear my arguments and they think, "Wait a minute, why is Julius all of a sudden pro-choice? He sounds very dumb." Like, it makes him think like now he sounds dumb with his arguments, and that
Well, you have to have sarcasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love trolling. My friend Muppet's a masterclass troll. She's perfected the game.
Her
She's killing it on
troll is
TikTok.
scary. It's scary good.
It's really crazy good. Like sometimes I wonder, like Muppet, have you become this character? Like, where's the line? It's blurry sometimes.
Yeah, it reminds me of that one woman. I forget her name, but she was the teacher, and from California, and she's always wore that mask. She always calls herself the. Oh my goodness, man! She calls herself the teacher who wears this like a BLM mask. She has glasses. You guys haven't seen her before?
Yeah, I've seen her.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. She was on Vice, actually. I don't know if it was the same time you were on.
Mm-hmm.
She was on Vice, but she plays that character really well.
Oh, I know who you're talking. Never mind. I was thinking of somebody else. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, she plays that character real like so good. People think like she's actually that kind of person. And
Layla and I had some fun role playing on Halloween. Remember that, Layla? The Halloween fiesta?
Mm-hmm.
I could never forget.
What did you guys do?
Oh.
Or should we not talk
Anyway,
about
it doesn't matter.
Let's move on. It's not
important.
It's not important right now.
Well,
doesn't
we'll
matter.
put that part out on the replay.
It's nothing big, nothing major, ground shaking. Just move along, folks.
So I know we kind of had like a long conversation, but just to kind of wrap this up on this conversation, what do you guys think about what Candace Owens was saying? Just kind of touch back on that about her basically saying that now the lie is that they're pushing kids to be, the opposite gender. Because again, lately you're talking about, how we can combat that, right? Candace Owens describing what happened to her. Do you think that she should have tweeted that, or do you think she should have just been like, kind of like not go along with it, but go along with it sarcastic? Like, you think she should have like did that instead of being like, I got banned, or being like, you know what? Like, hey, if they want to do this and that, let them do it. You know what I mean? Like, should she have said it in
No, we need people to be leaders. So we need someone like her to say this is not like it's okay to not go along with it. Like you don't have to go along with this. And that's the point. Because again, people are not they're not leaders, they're followers. So they have to have someone tell them that it's okay to do something.
So we got to become those people, guys. I hate to say it, but we're trying to like make influence in the world or whatever for the better. That's going to be the only way that the masses are won over in any way. That's going to be the game. So we have to choose to accept it or not, but that's the rules. Them's are the breaks, kids.
I know. I honestly wish we didn't have to talk about these people because I'm so tired of them. I'm so sick of thinking. Like, who wants to think about their buttholes? Like, I'm so tired.
I mean,
I'm
one thing I
so
will say,
tired of hearing about it. I don't care. Like,
I hate it. I hate hearing about it. I couldn't care less. Do whatever you want.
gross. So disgusting. No, I don't care. I don't think
If you
about
do
it.
it behind closed doors in your house, it's none of my business to care, frankly, and I don't want to have to care. So
But
that's
why
fine.
do they have to make you care? I don't care.
But they have to bring it out in the streets to make everybody accept it, no matter what they're put.
I
Nah,
don't need to see your female penis.
right.
Okay.
Keep
my
your
issue,
fat and your dick away from us.
yeah, my issue is when I see conservatives sharing videos. This makes me think that they secretly like this stuff. 'Cause I was on Twitter and I was scrolling through and I saw Ian Miles Chung, I say his name. He shared a video of I just scrolled through, so I didn't like look at it, but I just scrolled through and I was like, what the heck? And it was a dude like giving head to another dude, like pretending like,
Bro.
and it's like they're sharing this stuff. Be like, don't you
Because
see
it's
how
clickbait.
gross this is? And I'm like, well, why are you even filming it?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah,
Like, why
exactly.
are you making me? Did I mean I don't like that. That tells
Perfect
me
point.
like, that there's something about that you secretly like for your
Fucking
feed.
gross, bro.
I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I get it. There are men out there dressed as women or twerking and G strings. I get that, but you have to show it on your timeline. Be like, don't you see how gross this is? I'm like, yeah. I could just say that without watching.
Yeah, I know.
You need to show me that. I'm like, that tells me, are you into that stuff? Because it's on your timeline playing over and over and over. So I'm like, are you not at home being like, this is so gross?
I hate these freaking faggots.
Now he gets his hand like, this is so gross. Like,
I really
Oh my
hate
God,
these
I can't
faggots,
believe you
Julius.
said
Let's talk
that.
about it for a little while longer.
you guys,
How much
you
I
guys
hate
ever
them.
seen that meme? You guys ever seen that meme
You're
where
gonna get banned. Stop.
but you guys ever seen that meme where it's the black dude where like he's on his laptop and he goes,
Oh my God, I can't believe this life
then
is
next
not
one's like-
down. That is the worst word you could use. Oh my God.
Oh, you're still working that
Oh
out.
my God.
Hey,
Oh my God.
just tell them the guys at the age of
These
men.
conservatives, man.
It's all on us. Layla's not
Oh
responsible
my
for the
God.
words you guys hear in the background here. We are degenerates,
Oh my
admittedly, sometimes. We're trying to become
No,
real
but
men. Hence the name of the show.
You're bringing up a really good point. Like a really good point. Why are they constantly blasting this stuff when they could be blasting anything else?
Like assholes.
Like,
They love doing
why?
that.
Like, why? Why? Why are you so obsessed? Like, you have nothing else to say except, oh my God, look at these dudes kissing each other deep in the tongue. Like, what is wrong with you?
Oh, I hate
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I get it. They're gay.
that. They
Get
suck
it.
dick. I know. All right. Yeah.
Like,
It's just
yeah.
it's so weird. And then it's like how they complain is funny. It's like
Some,
look at this. I'm like, I don't want
I
to.
know.
No,
Like,
please don't.
he
Please don't
shows
make me.
you, he shows you P-Hub, but like he's like, I accidentally clicked the version for like the man on man, and then I accidentally clicked the button and I accidentally this is disgusting.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'm like, why
Oh
are you
my
guys
God.
doing this?
I thought it was a
And that's
woman,
the
but
point.
I just kept going. You know, it wasn't. I thought it was a girl, but once I was there, I just decided to keep going. It doesn't make me gay, does it?
I was waiting. No, it was multiple people, and they were waiting for the girl to come in the room, and then the
Hey,
girl never came up. So
I was just watching porn. That doesn't make me a cuck, does it? Careful, young man. You're walking a close line.
oh God, it's so bad.
But here's the worst, though, right? They say don't push this on kids, but yet you have kids who these people and it's going to the timeline and it's like this is what they're doing to your kids, and some kids like, mommy, look. It's like, what are you watching? But mom
It's
thinks it's
weird.
liberal,
It's
but
so weird
it's a
because
right winger.
that's why conservatives are just like, I can't even like, you know, in World War II, it's sometimes I feel like the conservatives are like the French, just being like completely decimated with like, it's hard. No, I can't use that comparison because the Germans actually had really good strategy and really efficient. But it's just like this like complete disregard for any type of strategery, like any type of countermeasures, any like anything, like nothing. You're just gonna keep pushing out their propaganda. Like, hello.
I'll offer a really good example. I think strategy-wise, this would be something conservatives, especially people that are just totally anti-abortion, should start doing. You got to negotiate a middle ground agreement. From there, you can start to get more. For instance, I think that anybody, no matter where you're at on the aisle, if you're pro-choice or pro-life, we could all admit that it would be reasonable to maybe have a cap on the amount of abortions you could have in a lifetime, right? Let's say 3. Which is, by the way, to me, ridiculously way too high. But it's a starting point to negotiate with these people. Can we all agree that any more than 3 abortions should be illegal? That's ridiculous, right? And then you get it down to 2, and then 1 over time, and then hopefully you get it out of there. But we got to start working a little bit. I think they're too hardlined oftentimes, conservatives. They don't understand that you got to meet in the middle or negotiate unless you're planning on going to war. Literally picking up guns and going and forcing people to do what you want. And I don't think they have the nuts to do that, frankly, from where I'm sitting. They don't seem like they have any balls to actually stand up and do anything. So you might want to start playing ball a little bit with negotiating.
He's like, you're not gonna kill that baby, are you?
Julius, remember when I told you what I would do to my girl if I found out she was trying to abort my kid?
Yeah, he said he's gonna.
I'll kill you. You're not going to leave this fucking backyard if you're going to go
my
get that kid
god,
aborted.
this is gonna get banned.
Oh, unalived. I'll unalive you if you don't unalive my
No,
child.
you're saying, oh my god.
Hey,
You
just
guys
don't do it.
need
Just
a
give it to me when you have it.
channel.
Sorry, Layla.
No.
So
I dragged Layla through so much stuff. I have to apologize to her sometimes for it. I'm so.
I want to address your comment real quick. Grace says I only see 2 people watching this. Very sad. She's not saying very sad in a bad way, but she's saying like, you know, I see 7. She might see 2. Here's what I say for those of you guys who are watching. If you have other social media platforms, share this out, and to those who have big platforms, share this out under their tweets or their Facebook posts or Instagram, whatever the case may be. Share this out, and that's how you get more people to actually look at our stuff. You know what I mean?
I got 4 people over on my page. There's other people. The Discord they'll be watching at some point. Yeah, it's all good. People watch it later, and I'd rather have 1 or 2 people that are genuinely interested, than like a million views or whatever. Because it could be bots. It could be.
You just make clips and use the content for clips. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
But thank you, Grace.
Anyway,
thank you for saying that.
So I want to go on to the next subject. So any last thoughts on Candace Owens being suspended? What do you guys think moving forward conservatives should do? And any last
I think
thoughts?
they should double down, keep calling it out, double it down. I'm going to be doing an episode on why the kids in Canada, you know, stomping the gay flag is a bad look. And break that down why that's a bad look. Because people think, oh, this is great, they're fighting back. And it's like, oh, this is great. You're just giving them media clips, you dumbasses. Like, you're so stupid. You have no strategy whatsoever. You guys are really weak. So now, because again, in California, what are they going to do? It's child abuse to not affirm the gender. Oh, look, another thing. Parents teach hate, so it's a good idea to take them away from the kids so they.
That's exactly right, Layla. It's all about optics.
It's so
not a good look.
It's fucking dumb.
Okay, because I did post it and I said this is the way. That was my comment. I was like, this is the way, and I know
I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying that. Yeah, at first sight, you're like, oh yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that people are, you know, standing up. Like, don't get me wrong. But then you can think about it and be like, oh shit, they're going to use this to push their message. So you always have to think about when you're at such a weak position, you're fighting within their context. You're fighting within their frame of argument. So you have to, where they're trying to pin you as a hate-filled person, whereas you're just trying to say, oh, I don't want to have pornography in schools or this or that, you know.
But look how outrageous these people are. They indoctrinate their children with this kind of hate. Yeah, they'll spin that kind of message for sure.
Yeah.
But then also, do you think that kind of gives us the damn if you do, damn if you don't?
No.
Because like if we didn't do, it's like if we didn't do that, let's say it wasn't the kids stomping on the flags, it was the adults doing that. They can still use that either way to say, well, look, because you had Democrats calling the Muslim community white supremacy for fighting back against the LGBT. So even if it wasn't kids in Canada, if the adults doing it, I think the same narrative will still be pushed.
You just don't have listen. It's called okay. So so I used this analogy once when I was talking to Suni, and she didn't even want to have the argument. You know how? Okay, let's see. Like a guy, he cheats on his girlfriend or whatever. You ask him, he just ignores the question. He's not going to answer the question. You just don't answer the question. You just don't talk about that topic. You just keep changing the topic. You just don't let them. You do not let them. You control the conversation. You don't let it go there. You just say, I don't need to talk about this thing that you want to talk about. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. You keep cycling back to that. You keep cycling back to it. You just don't answer. You don't address it. You're just like, make it not be about them. It's not about them. It's about you, and it's about what you want. And it is about your end game. If your end goal is to support family and healthy children, that's the only thing you need to talk about.
I love that message, Layla. Because honestly, what they're doing, well, first of all, Trump's a master of this, but anybody that's good at debating or going back, you don't acknowledge the person's criticism or whatever they're trying to put on you. You just do your thing. Literally ignore it like it never happened. Otherwise, you're just giving it life. You're giving it energy that's unnecessary. It's a small portion of the society.
You have to behave. This is why it's important people understand human psychology and behavior. You have to act like a narcissist. You have to control and manipulate people. It's the same component. You can do it to abuse them, or you can do it to stop them from abusing others.
Or yourself, even just having your own thing. Yeah. You got to realize there's always levels of manipulation going on. Are you going to be the receiving end or on the other side of that?
And this is the other thing. It's neutral. Manipulation is not good or bad. It's a neutral thing. You could do it for good or bad. So, yeah, it's just a bigger picture. It's zooming out. And that's the thing. It's like, this is why I'm doing a series on the mind of a propagandist. And it's not like on my locals, on my YouTube. Is you have to zoom out. We interact like human beings. Like, we see something, we think something's good or bad. That's not how we have to think about things. We have to. It's levels to the shit, Yes. So just like your Julius, your thing was valid about the kids saying no to this thing. That is valid at that level. But then for them, they're going to go on another level and use it against you.
Macro, deciding which ones are,
right. Yeah. But that's not entirely. I'm not going against you, Layla. I'm adding on to this, saying
I know.
It's not an entirely new concept, because regardless of what we do, whether we do it correctly, do it not, do it however way, they'll find a way depending. I mean, again, they call Muslim people white supremacists. I mean, if they're willing to go that far to say that,
well, that's
either we go all in with the truth, or we try to change it up to not have them combat us. They're gonna find ways to combat us regardless if we do it.
But you're validating it. By acknowledging it at all is, I think, what Layla's point was.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, you're validating it by acknowledging it. Yeah.
Just if you don't talk about it, no matter what smear they throw. Think about Trump. How he's a master at doing this. Anytime somebody's criticizing him or whatever, he's never ever going to address the charges and somehow justify himself or whatever. He's just gonna fucking turn a savage punking on you as quickly and swiftly as he can.
Do you think it's the same analogy, Layla? Like, for example, when somebody tries to lie on you, right? You know that it's a lie. You know they're going to keep lying on you. Regardless of what you do, you know it's a lie. So there's no point in trying to defend yourself every single time they lie when you know that's what they do. At that point, you just live by example. And
exactly. That is so great. Exactly. That summarizes perfectly what I've been saying. Rambling. That is what you have to do. You have to just...
I'm going to use that clip now.
Yeah, so it's like we got one.
No, we're quick. But in all seriousness, the reason why I bring this up is because I'm going through that right now personally.
Wow.
So I'm going through that right now where it's like there's constant lie, a lie on me. It's really bad too. It's like full blown kind of almost to a point of defamation kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so if this were to get to court and then the court sides with this person's story of me, and I'm like, that's just not true. But I know if I keep doing what I'm doing based on my actions, that would speak a whole lot louder than having to defend this same narrative every single time. Because the more I defend it, it almost makes me look guilty, like I did.
Yes, Julius, exactly. Like, why is this guy? The way Trump comes off is he can't be bothered to acknowledge the freaking riffraff because it's bullshit. Apparently, he can't even be bothered to notice it or let alone address it. But once you start addressing it and feeling the need to explain yourself or something, suddenly people start thinking, "Oh, he's trying to talk his way out of this." But just don't fucking ever acknowledge it. It will never do you any good ever. I love that point, Layla. Just
So
ignore it. Literally, don't
That was
fucking
a
ever
good
acknowledge
point.
it.
yeah, so I think now I see what you mean because like the protests and things like that. I don't mind the protest, but I think I see what you mean because it's like we're defending it so much where it's like we don't want this in the school, we don't like this. The other side knows that, but
They
like
could they could instead be promoting the fact, okay, acknowledge that this is happening, let people know this is happening. Where's the alternative curriculum? Where's you know what I would do? I would say I'm making a diversity, equity, inclusion curriculum, and I would just rewrite it, gut it and rewrite it. Like that's what you do. You just like, okay, cool, we're doing this. I do believe in diversity and equity, or no, I do believe in diversity and inclusion and all these great things, and then I just change what it means.
And literally don't even have it, make it like non-inclusive. You know what I mean? You don't even have to just put the title and sell it like it's going to be that, and then you can give the off. You can play the game.
Yeah,
Many ways to play.
Yeah, there's so many ways, but instead they're just like, no, you can't do it because it's wrong, and it's like nobody cares what you think. It's like
that's not the game, and they're getting slaughtered because they're not playing by the rules of the game.
Slaughtered.
They're
and
getting
because
slaughtered.
they don't understand what it is. They don't understand how these people think. They don't understand how these people work. They don't understand what these people are even doing or have the courage to even recognize what it means. They're like, oh, they must be making a mistake.
Hence the importance of a Layla in the world, like breaking this kind of stuff down for you guys in tangible ways.
I still have people tell me there's no conspiracies out there.
They what?
I still have people tell me there's no big conspiracy out there.
Okay.
There's no big agendas out there, and I'm just a conspiracy theorist.
Have fun with that.
You know what's funny too?
Let them walk right off the cliff.
I know people personally. I know someone personally who doesn't really buy into all the conspiracies, but when I start telling them about like California bills, like for example, California, you can essentially rob as long as it's not over $951. When I tell somebody that, they go, "Is that true?" I go, "Yeah, that's actually a real thing." I show them the bill and everything. That plants more of a seed to being like, It's wrong. I don't like it. It's this, it's that. And I do use those words too, because I'll say all day, I live in a demonic state. I'm going to say it all day long because California government is demonic.
But at least Newsom's hot.
Oh my goodness. Layla, I cannot stand
I'm gonna make a video like that because I need clickbait.
That's the perfect troll game. That would be great.
I can't stand when people use that, like, oh, he's so hot. I'm like, bro, that's like saying, what's his name? Christian Bale from American Psycho. Oh, he's hot, but yet
he's not hot?
Bro, Julius, you don't even know the movie you just brought up to this young lady.
You're just like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're
American Psycho's her guy. She loves him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
that is Gavin Newsom. American Psycho, that is Gavin Newsom.
Wow.
Hair and everything.
He's more beta than that, though. He's much more beta, I would say. Gavin Newsom.
I think I don't like him at all. But I think deep down inside, he knows. Like, he knows that LGBT is all not his thing. He knows all this stuff. But he has to do what his puppet master says.
He's a shitty politician,
Politicians, the sooner people wake up from their delusions, politicians are pay for play. Every last one of them. And if you are upset about that, I'm sorry. She really did love you, at the strip club down in Magic City. She was the one, but the rest of them are pay for play. For me, that doesn't make me upset. That just makes me feel comfortable with knowing what reality is. And it is what it is. Like, it's not great, but it's the truth. Like, who cares? It is what it is.
Speaking of reality, we got to go into this next subject about the liberal woman who.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were about to show
And
the
that-
other clip, Julius. But yeah, we'll save that one for later. The one you've been like
We
obsessed
beat the
with
shit
watching
out
over
of
and over
this
again.
one topic. You guys kept going on tangents. I'm so upset.
No, Layla, let's get to Layla's topic. Let's let her keep us on the course for us.
Yeah, no, we'll quick on the side note, Layla. So I'm gonna tell you this real quick. So Nick and I are gonna share this video. I forgot to put the censor thing on it, but so there's this guy. This was in Africa. This was the Egyptian resort called out there in what's it called? Hurghada. And I guess this guy was out in the waters, and there was a shark who actually like ate this dude. Like somebody filmed the shark.
And Julius got addicted to it. Julius asked me. He said to me, "He's like, bro, you ever see the movie Jaws?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I'm like watching this clip that I just can't stop watching." And I was like, eventually, I was like, "How many times in a row have you watched it, Julius? Like over 10?" He's like, "Definitely at least 10." Definitely.
I watched it more than 10 times. I watched it because, see, for me, when I watch videos like that, it's not because like I'm like I can't help it. I'm trying to analyze everything about the video because there's two boats. There's the guy who's trying to get away from the shark eating him, and then there's two boats, and then there's a woman in that video who's constantly saying, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my." It's just over and over. I'm like, lady, shut up, you know? Good Lord. But then towards the very end, you see a boat finally come to rescue this dude, but by this time he's dead. And then they pull the shark out, and the shark has a big fat belly because he ate.
Oh,
it's wild,
Oh
man.
Julius said it like this. Julius was like, "It was so crazy. It was like the movies where it comes up and it's just red everywhere."
Yeah.
And then that's not even the craziest part, bro. The craziest part is when the shark comes back around.
Yeah.
And takes them home.
You know how movies when the shark eats and you see all that blood? That happened like in the video. He takes a bite and you see this red everywhere, and then the guy
I feel
tries to
like
swim
that's
away.
for the Discord.
It's
Yeah, no,
wild.
we cannot show that in here. That we have to describe that as we did. We cannot show it apparently according to Julius. But he was still watching it when he was on the phone with me. He could not look away.
I couldn't look away.
Pretty
I was like,
shocking.
one of these.
He's watching it right now, folks. Look at him.
I know. My phone's right here. I'm like,
That's funny.
yeah.
That's
No, so
funny.
anyway, okay, but yeah, that's what they were talking about. So
All
I'm
right,
saying
back to the business.
Yeah, so the next story that we're going to get into, that needs to be an interesting conversation to have with this one right here. So apparently there is a woman who claims to be a liberal, and she uses the term loosely, according to her, and she wants to find love, but in a conservative way. She wants to find a man who's masculine, but still liberal. So here's an article from, I believe it's Evie magazine. It says liberal woman complains that it's hard to find masculine men who aren't conservative. She says it's difficult.
No, who are liberal, right? Who are liberal?
No. It says it's hard to find masculine men who aren't conservative.
Who aren't? Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So she says it's difficult to find a liberal man who is willing to pay on the first date and fulfill a masculine role in a relationship. So, whoops, hold on. Let me pause that. We're going to get to that video right now. Give me 1 second while I pull that
No
up.
shit, it's hard to find, lady. Were you born yesterday?
So here is that video here. Hopefully people can see it. There we go. Let me play the video right here. This is what she has to say.
As a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who do have that more natural provider masculinity about them are normally conservative.
She wants him to give her the traditional.
I thought I sent you the full clip.
Amazing. Who was that?
That was me. I thought I sent her the full clip.
Female homemaker, childbearing role
thing, but she doesn't want to have the expectation of then fulfilling her end of that traditional role.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's one-sided responsibility.
What's that video that you're working on again? Female
privilege?
Yes.
As a liberal woman, It is really.
Yeah, she's a great lady.
I do find that very, very interesting to me because that's what it seems like nowadays, at least when I see on these podcasts. So I can't say verbatim, but I think on a lot of these podcasts, you have women that do lean a lot more liberal, and they want the man to play that masculine role, but yet they don't want to play the feminine role. And that's the reason why I noticed too in these relationships today, people say, well, I want 50-50, right? I think that whole 50-50 thing, to me, I don't buy in because it's the idea that men and women are equal. So we have to have this equal partnership. So that to me sounds like it's more of a business than it's a relationship. So this woman who wants to have a liberal man and to be masculine and have all the roles for him does nothing. And so do you guys kind of see that in today's society? I mean, I don't really see it as much when I'm out and about, but I've seen it when I was out and about. I would see women kind of lead the way and the man kind of follow. I've seen women be kind of masculine and the man be a lot more feminine. Matter of fact, if you guys want to discuss that real quick, I'll pull up the video of me asking about if men should lead and how this guy responded on TikTok, which is very interesting. So the question to pose to you guys as I find the video.
Play the clip.
Yeah, play the clip. Let's do the clip.
Yeah. Well, so do you guys think that liberal men can be masculine, and do you think that?
Well, I need to see your argument first. I don't know.
Liberal masculine. That's kind of like a misnomer, right? It doesn't seem to add up to me, but I'm open to finding one. I'm open to seeing one. I guess if they exist.
Yeah.
Point them out to me, ladies, if they're out there. Tell me if they exist, because I've never seen one for you guys.
Rollo Tomasi, he calls it something like blue pill alpha or something like that. Where the man still takes care of what he takes care of, but he still has the liberal tendencies as far as the beliefs.
This is ridiculous.
Rollo Tomasi lost me when he said dudes need to get circumcisions when they're like in their 20s. I'm like,
was that real?
He posted that.
I watched the explanation that he did with Sneeko and Destiny. I understand why he did that now. He did that to spark a conversation. I don't know if he believes in that per se, but you did have like Myron from Fresh and Fit kind of believe that as well. But I think Tomasi.
I thought that's what he meant. I mean, he said he made a list. Like,
you could have made it more clear that it was just a joke.
I mean, it's literally a bullet point list. Like, I don't know about you. I don't write grocery lists just being like, oh, I want tomatoes, but not really. Oh, I want pasta, but not really. I just put it there. Like
he's married. That's the weird thing. He's married. He's been for a long time. It seems like that list would be a trolling list based on his own life. But again, he doesn't write it anywhere. He doesn't make it clear, so people are going to read that shit and just take it for what it is, face value.
I mean, it's literally you don't have like vagueness in bullet point lists. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. Here's that video of me talking to this guy. So apparently, this guy right here, I'm circling. He was running for a position. He's a Democrat running for some position, and he asked me what I was talking about. So I'm doing street interviews about relationships, and this is what I asked him here. Who should take the lead in the relationship, the man or the woman?
It should be an equal partnership. I think that we should also throw away the gender binary.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah.
How do you mean?
The gender binary, gender is a construct, and I just think it's not useful, and we're at a point where we don't need it anymore. And the social systems that we've built around the gender construct are oppressive, and I think that we should just consider people as people and not by their anatomy. Personally, that's what I believe.
He's insufferable.
He's insufferable, and she's thinking that
dominant. I feel like that's kind of like the opposite of what I just.
Let me play it back. Don't women tend to like men who are dominant?
I feel like that's kind of like the opposite of what I just said.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, so that's my question. Like, don't women tend to like men who are dominant? Like, don't they like men who take charge and take the lead and kind of know what they want?
I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I'm in charge, personally. Me.
She's kind of a boss.
Who take the lead in the board? So, you guys see what I mean? It's like this.
That's awesome.
I asked this guy a simple question, and he's like, "Oh, he's going with the binary system and all this junk that I didn't care what he had to say." I'm just like, but in reality, bro, women don't like guys like you. You might find a woman that will like you, but she will use you so you can validate her, pay for her, she gets free stuff from you. But then meanwhile, she's texting Chad or Tyrone even while she's with you. So as much as we want to throw away the binary stuff, at the end of the day, women do like a man that stands on his principles, you know? And but that's what makes me wonder. It's like if a woman wants a man who's masculine but liberal, I don't think she's going to find that. If she is, he may be able to take care of the traditional roles, but his belief system is still going to be that of a more weaker mindset. You know, believing in abortion, believing illegal immigrants and kind of stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like the whole pandering, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just think that to me, there's no such thing as a liberal masculine man. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that liberal men can still be masculine?
Let's ask a woman, Layla.
Did you just assume her gender? Did you just assume her gender?
I said I was two-spirit. You guys are going to get your stream taken out. Yeah.
Does that mean you can fuck yourself? No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
Okay, so I'm going to, again, shamelessly plug myself. I'm also going to be talking about this because when you have men in their masculine, so we both, so men have a feminine side, you know, women have a masculine side. Because it's not conducive to us to be masculine, when we have this masculinity, that's why feminists act the way they do, those crazy, rapid, you know, abortion protesters and stuff. When you're in your masculine as a woman, it's this deformed, disgusting thing, you know? It's this really nasty thing. It's like you're this demonic entity because it's not natural, it's not good for you. It's like a poison for your body. Just like the testosterone, you have too high testosterone, it's like a poison for you. If a woman has masculine levels of testosterone, it's poison. But if a guy has feminine levels of estrogen, it's like a poison to him. And that changes how you behave, that changes how you act. Long story short, you have all these crazy chicks literally running around like demons in their masculine. You have that dude over there trying to get rid of the gender binary, dating a girl, getting owned. I have no idea what the hell kind of dynamic that is. It's so disgusting. I'm sure he'll be there to save any babies from any upcoming Syrian, you know, asylum seeker. Reference to France. But yeah, again, women opting for feminism so you can have a dude like that, so you can get stabbed in a park.
And he'll run away going, ah!
Literally sliding down a slide. The motherfucker slid down the slide and was like, and ran away. I was like, no.
He's like, I feel like that's kind of exactly opposite of what did he say?
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did.
You know, it's funny too because I wasn't going to debate him on what he said, but I was like, I'm going to go straight for the judge.
Killing him, man, with like one or two words, literally.
Isn't that the opposite?
Yeah, that's what he said.
What women want?
I feel like it's kind of the exactly opposite.
I mean,
But
and that chick, she's not going to stay with him.
No, you can tell she had no desire for him.
She's going to find a guy who has a decent amount of money if she can do it before she gets older, and, you know, she's going to give it to him.
If you guys notice, when I asked, don't women like a man who's dominant, you could tell she kind of cracked a little smile. She was like,
Bro, I was looking at her the whole time, and she was thinking to herself, I couldn't be more dried up by this fucker that's answering the questions. And I'm looking around. My head's on a swivel right now looking for somebody else.
Literally.
And then that last guy in the end who was like, she's kind of a boss. I was like,
no shit. That has to be with this beta around.
So I'm like, we're losing. She's kind of a boss. I was like, why did you even say that? Like he sounds like
why women would buy. I don't know why women would buy into a philosophy that would leave men like just completely effeminized.
I don't get it either. It's not that glamorous having to play the role of the man, frankly. We're born to do it, and we'll step up if there's like appreciative people for it. But it seems to me like I would happily settle into the feminine side. Like they get offered by some decent men in this society. Like Why would I want to fight to be a man in this world if I'm a beautiful, like, nurturing, caring woman? Like, you don't have to go out there in the cold, savage world every day. If men are like making it so you don't have to, why would you put yourself through that? It's ridiculous. It's almost an insult to any man who's trying to provide that for any women, because it's like you care so
But
little
then
about.
again, guys like it. They love the feminist chick. They love the like crazy feminist chick. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe she did this. And it's like the whole time you knew she was a crazy feminist, but
Yeah.
you were down for it because she's
Remember,
been with
there's
180
comment.
guys. She knows what she's doing.
Oh my gosh.
Grace says, when a man truly loves a woman and a woman truly loves a man, there's ultimately a leader that takes I can't say that word partner, his partner's needs, wants, dreams, goals, etc. into consideration. When both of these happen, it is pure bliss. Yeah, listen, you guys are right about the men that accept. In my opinion, when a man accepts a woman's intolerance, she'll never tolerate him. And I saw this video on Instagram where this guy, I mean, it's so pathetic. He allows this chick to just beat him. I mean, she had these little red boots that people are starting to wear, those like Astro Boy boots people are starting to wear. She had those boots on, and the guy's on his knees, and she's kicking him in his nuts. I mean, like really hard. And she kicked him like 3 times, and then she's like, "Kiss my feet," and he kisses her feet. He's like, he's so pathetic.
That hurts my heart. Or my stomach literally wrenches when I hear a story like that.
That must be a fetish. I don't know.
It's definitely a fetish, but it's
sad though. But it's really sad because men are willing to do this because it's like they have such low self-esteem of themselves that they're willing to get beat up by a woman in order to have some validation, to have her around in his orbit. And
I don't get that, Julius. I'd rather be alone. I would so rather be alone, right? No questions.
I don't get it. Dads need to teach their sons. I don't know.
It's so wild.
That's the reason why I think that, to me, when you have these liberal men, in my opinion, when you have liberal men, I think that liberal men are the worst because I think they pretend. They're pretenders. They pretend to be nice. They pretend to want to act like your friend. Meanwhile, they know deep down inside, I want to sleep with her because she's hella
They're doing
fine.
it to get in their pants. Yeah, they're not doing it because they're good, nice guys. They're sneaky.
Right. So this woman who wants a liberal man but still be masculine, to me, it really comes off as, I want a man that's going to be traditional, but still allow me to do non-traditional things. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are women who want to be in relationships but still be single at the same time. So she wants to be home, but she wants to be out on the weekends. And what that means is she's gonna go look for Tyrone and Chad. They're gonna blow her back out and then go back home to liberal Billy.
Sexless marriage or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's wild. That's why the conversation.
She thinks that the constraints of being with a conservative men are all too much because she thinks, again, she's a feminist, and she thinks that playing her role as a woman is inherently evil and bad. So it's like honestly, like the likelihood she can even be a mom at this point is really slim. She's liberal. She's probably like,
good
so
point.
it's like come on now. Like, most people aren't gonna look at you like that because you're gonna eat IVF and all this shit.
Good point.
So, yeah, good point, especially with the IVF. That's what's going on in California right now.
What's that? What is the initials?
It's IVF. It's in vitro
fertilization. Okay, just for the layman out there, including my layman ass.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, like, it sounds insane. I don't want a conservative guy who expects me to like respect him and be a woman and do chores even though he's paying for everything. Like, you sound dumb.
You don't expect to bring anything to the table.
Not even anything to the table.
What do you mean, Nick? She is the table, Nick.
It's not even that. It's just you sound stupid. Like, you sound stupid. Like, you literally sound like you haven't thought this through. You're just like, can I just get a guy who will just literally worship me and simp for me and do everything I want, give me money, and I can just like
find him attractive,
do whatever I want? do
Yeah,
whatever
she's out
I
here.
want. I won't have to be a homemaker. Like, I don't have to make sure he has meals. Like, I don't have to cook for him. I don't have to do
Yeah.
anything that he might like or he might be happy or, God forbid, be attractive to him in any way. If I decide I want to shave my head, that's my little right. Like, it's just stupid as shit. These women are dumb. They're not thinking it through. They're not thinking it through. It's like, what are you even asking? You're asking for somebody to do everything you want, but oh, by the way, I won't give you anything I want except for some like IVF needing vagina. Like, okay? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to insult women who can't do that, like, you know, or can't have natural or need IVF. That's not the point. What I'm saying is the rate fertility is going and the rate this person, their lifestyle is, the likelihood that they will need it is very high. They're not over here drinking raw milk and like, you know, avoiding injections. So it's like, no, stop. You sound stupid. Again, not thinking it through, not presenting any valid argument, just being entitled, which I hate using that term, but that literally is that, because it's like you're literally not offering anything. Like, no one's saying you have to bring something to the table. I think the term bringing something to the table sounds stupid as hell. What do you want me to do? You want me to build you some chairs? Like, what do you want me to do? No. I'm here. I'll help you do what you need to do. Oh, I don't know, maybe help you live a longer life statistically. Like, there's a myriad of things that I can do that aren't going to be tangibles. Like,
Yes.
women do not necessarily bring tangibles other than like human life, but it is what it is. So it's like when guys say the term, I hate that term. God.
Layla, it's the intangibles that. So
Yes, the intangibles. It's the feminine. It's the quality. It's the feminine. It's the intangibles.
Look,
They're
you guys make an environment. Look, like as a man that's like doing somewhat, you know, I'm taking care of myself by this point in my life. I can buy food, whatever, you know, accommodations, all that shit. There's certain things that a good woman provides that I simply can't buy. And it's like a homemaking, nourishing, kind of loving, uplifting environment. I can't
literally
go buy that anywhere.
Statistically extending your lifespan. What more valuable in terms of an intangible, like a non-material thing, but it just extends your lifespan. Men literally live longer when they have marriage and they have a family and they have that.
And we're actually happy. We enjoy life instead of being a miserable mess. That's like a purpose and a reason to want to live.
It's very stressful on the body. It's very hard on the body. So it's like, that's why it's a neurotoxin, okay? So it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, you know,
I think that's why you have the I don't want to say red pill, but you have men out there who are trying to teach other men to be more stoic in chaotic situations, because a lot of men, we men and women deal with things a lot differently. And I know they say women are more emotional, but as you said earlier, Layla, with a man testosterone, he has very high testosterone, especially when he's dealing with chaotic stuff. That drives the man at his angriest, and the next thing you know, he's this beast. And it's like, I didn't know he was ever like this. Oh my God! And then it's like, yeah, because you know you're not showing this man peace. And I think that's the issue. That's something I kind of want to bring up to you, Layla. Even with conservative, now you see this woman who's a liberal, right? She wants a man who's masculine but still liberal. Do you think that there are still even conservative women that might feel the same way? Because you have, I'm not knocking women for doing this. I'm just saying that what I've seen, right? You have conservative women who will want a man that, you know, traditional role, but yet they're still doing things like they're still working. They're still this now, like they want to, they'll be submissive when they need to, but they still want to work at the same time. But then trying to make it seem like they can kind of have the duality of being feminine, but still kind of working. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it's the working that's the problem. I don't think working is the problem. It's the whole mindset and the structure of everything and the expectation. I don't think there's anything wrong with working necessarily.
Most people statistically need to have two incomes nowadays. You can't survive with one.
I mean,
yeah. No, what I was saying was not. I'm trying to like say this in the right way, but what I mean is that, for example,
they don't want to listen. They don't want to do what he wants to do. They want to lead, basically.
Tell him, Layla.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that, like, so you'll have conservative women who claim that they're all about traditional roles, but yet when they have kids, they're still going out and working versus being at home with their children. You know what I mean?
Like that shit. Like, I mean, honestly, I mean, honestly, again, like Nick was saying, it's like really difficult and really challenging depending on where you are in the world or in the country, in the world to like have that lifestyle. So, I mean, at this point, especially Gen X is probably, I mean, when you're dealing with millennial men, the idea of being able to find a guy who can just like be a stay-at-home mom 100%, that's like he has to make like 400,000 a year.
More or less
That's a
non-existent
lot.
statistically. That's
Like
not really out there statistically for the
literally,
women.
like
So they have to do it
yeah,
by
like
necessity. You have to work by
yeah. So I
necessity
mean,
usually.
that's society. So it's like you have to figure things out. But I think in the terms of the mindset of everything, it's about, this is what my guy always says. It's about the fact that feminism destroyed family. So now it's about having two rational adults who are able to compromise in terms of and figure out what's the best method that they need to figure out for their unique situation, because in California, minimum, if you make 150, 200K, that's like bare
Not that
minimum,
much,
like
right?
that's not that
Yeah.
much. Like it's like, oh, okay, cool. So it's about problem solving, figuring things out. But if people are understanding their role and they understand what they can give to that other person that will fulfill them in the way that they need to, like make them meals. If the guy likes having meals, that might make his life better. The guy might do shit that you need, whatever it is. I don't even know because I
Fill
don't
your
even
gas
need
tank for
anything.
you
I'm
so you
so
don't have to worry about
perfect.
it. Change your oil or
Yeah, things
something.
like stuff like that. Exactly, that's a great example. Like put gas in the tire so that some homeless guy doesn't come up at you and be like, "What are you doing?" While you're like bent over trying to like put some gas in the tire.
Yeah.
Like
Hey, baby,
basic.
can I fill your gas? She's like, what?
I know, like basic stuff, or not gas in the tire, but air
Give
in
me
the
a
tire. But
dollar.
you know what I mean? It's like things like that. So it's an evolution right now in society, and it's definitely evolving. But like a chick like that, she's just every single thing is gonna be bitching about how his politics are trash, bitching about how his opinions are trash, bitching about every single thing about his life, voting for everything that's going to hurt him, that's going to inhibit his progress, voting for the most dumbest stuff, so they're not helping. And honestly, I wish the red pill movement was talking more about this, because they're just making more justification for these guys to keep going on having sex with these chicks,
Can
because
I?
both sides needs to stop having sex with these toxic people, because that is
Yeah.
really bad.
I wanna not push back, but I want to say this because I watched a lot of these red pill content because I want the context behind it. Can I hear the argument against it? And I watch these podcasts to get a better understanding. So I will say this: I don't condone sleeping around for either side. I always think that even men who sleep around tend to look for love through a mother, through a woman, so they have sex with a woman to kind of get that.
But Myron said you had to be with 50 chicks minimum, right?
You know what's funny? Look, I'll be honest.
So you can find out what a good woman is.
It's interesting. I actually would agree with Sneeko when he pushed back on Myron saying that you don't have to sleep with 50 women to know how good or bad a woman is. I agree with that, but
It's not that hard to learn how to have sex. You know what I mean? When these people say like you need
no,
experiences, I'm like, you'll figure it out.
it's not even just the sex though. It's Myron's argument was men should do it so that they can have the idea of like how women are, female nature, and things like that. I think all that comes with experience because I always say this. I'll say this, but I won't go into detail. I always tell Nick that for me personally, I've been around the block, not like that, but I just
Yeah, yeah, ladies.
not like that, but I had enough experience to understand like female nature, which is what led me to actually knowing this stuff now. Because based on what I went through, and I know it's not everybody's situation, but it gave me a clear perspective on how women are, especially when it comes to your frame. And I noticed that when women first meet you, they see this confident dude because you're living life. There's no women in your life. They see this confident guy who's happy, this and that. They want to be in that space because they're miserable. Not all, but some are very miserable, so they want to be in that space. Then when you start to lose that frame because men get too attached to women, especially when they have sex, they feel it, they love it, the touch, everything, all that kind of stuff.
I'll take
The way
it.
she talks to him, all that stuff. So when a man starts to lose that frame, that's when she starts to drift away because she no longer is seeing the guy that she met. Now she's seeing the guy that's behind that curtain. So now she's kind of, she's not texting him as much. She's texting the other guy because this other guy has more. So
He's starting to sense it and dread it and become more pathetic by the minute, and then she hates it more. I can see that.
Especially when he's, like Nick said, especially when he senses it, when he starts to express like, hey, how come you don't text me back? She's like, oh God, he sounds like me.
She's thinking in her head, yeah.
Even more. So when the women, just for all the guys who are watching, any guy who's watching, when you meet women, I'm not trying to say stay a character, but just be in your masculine frame. Like, be that confident dude, be stoic, be happy, get your money up, do all that kind of stuff.
Well, just don't lose sight of the man that got her in the first place. Don't lose sight of yourself. She doesn't want you to do that. Even if she might think she does on the surface, she doesn't realize the implications that'll cause.
Here's the thing. Stop telling people everything about yourself. You just met this person. Just stop.
Yeah.
Like, why does everybody need to know every single thing about you, all your fears, like, why? Like, what are you dumping? Like, less is more. Less is more. Like, just stop. I even tried to do that too. Like, why not? Like, I get called, oh, you're so secretive sometimes. I'm like, why do you need to know all this stuff? Like,
I get that all the time from
What
girls.
do you need to know? Like, what
all
is
the time.
saying? Like, constantly, like, this constant, like, spilling out these liberal emotions. Oh, you need to know all my emotions. It's like,
get your feelings out here. Tell me everything about every part of your day. What thought are you having right now? Literally nothing. I'm staring at the paint on the wall.
We're so nosy. Well, I mean, look, here's what I think it is, right? On social media, there's so much information, and we get that every single day. So then when we get with somebody, we channel that same energy to our relationship. We want to know everything, past, future.
But you just
don't live in the moment.
I don't want to know, and I don't want her to feel the need to know all of that about me necessarily.
You just met me. You just met this person. Who are you?
You'll learn over the time if we hit it off and we stay together long enough, but I don't really feel the need to know that about you, and I don't really want to divulge about myself. Let's just chill out.
I mean, can you imagine you meet somebody and they tell you all their relationship past, all this stuff, having a childhood, like, please.
I'd break up with them. Honestly, probably I'd break up with them if they loaded all that off.
Yeah, but I get exactly, Julius, exactly what you're saying. Yeah, that totally. When guys, like, you get with a guy, you think he's this way, and he just slowly, like, disintegrates, like.
Because now he's got you, and he feels like he's just. Yeah, he's mushy now.
I would argue men do that more than women do it with guys, because women might tell too much, but they still know how to hold a certain frame. But men, because most men are not getting women on average, so once they get that woman, she's everything to him. It's like a miracle to him. So he was like, I gotta tell her everything. When I'm 5 years old, I get to play in the sand, and it's like she was like,
he's like texting her all day. She's like, if he only knew how much my phone blows up all day, every day. I don't want to be sitting here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. Again.
Yeah, guys do get insecure. Guys do get insecure about things, and I hear you about that. Yeah.
So it's like, that's why men should just, again, focus on yourself. In my experience,
chill out.
Bingo.
That's number one. Calm down, bro.
Relax.
Like, bro, we just met, bro. It's not even like that, bro. Like, let's chill.
You're gonna chase her away by acting
you like me, I like you. Like, let's calm down.
Let her
take it day by day.
Come to you. Let her have a chance to come to you.
Take it day by day, bro.
You guys
don't you have some like game of groomers or something you have to go play or something? Like Call of groomers.
You guys ever watch that movie Pineapple Express with Seth Rogen? And what's her name? Amber Heard was in that movie. She was very young.
Oh,
he's dating the high school chick or whatever. Yeah,
she was 18 years old. He's 25, and he went through all this stuff, and then she got involved, and he finally called her. She's like, "Where were you? I'm worried about you." He was like, "I know, I all these things." She's like, I love you so much. I want to marry you." He's like, I don't know. Oh, fuck.
My favorite part from that movie is his cough when he starts coughing and he does the robot. He's like,
yeah, because she wants him now. She wants to marry him, all this stuff. He's like, I don't really want this.
Desperation looks bad.
Desperation is going to push her away.
Bad.
You want her to have an interest in you. Come to you. She wants to come to you. You want to have her coming to you.
I just don't get it. It's like, this is like basic stuff. Don't be desperate.
Men are getting more and more pathetic and desperate by the day.
What's
The incel
going
movement.
on? Like, what's going on? Like, don't be desperate. Like, just learn how to talk to people, have some confidence, have some self-respect, and that's all you need. Put some fucking clothes on too. Like, all these dudes looking like trash. Like, dress. Put some clothes on. Wash your hair. Clean yourself. Like, these dudes, like, I don't know what happened to their dads, but they like did not tell them to like wash their face and like get ready and go. Like, what's going on? Just don't be going on a date and be like, oh, I haven't showered in 3 days. Oh, what's
Right.
up? You want to split these egg rolls with me? I get paid next week. Like,
man. We can lament. They're so bad. The men now.
It's like, what's going on? I'm just being silly.
Well, hence Layla, you're nailing it. Hence the Age of Men podcast. That's why we exist.
Seriously.
That was so accurate. I get paid next week.
Like, bruh, then why didn't you schedule the date for next week?
Yeah.
That's all you had to do. You didn't have to make it that complicated.
I think it's because, and you gotta think, everything plays a factor, right? Especially when the dude's homeboys, when the dude has a homeboy that's getting girls constantly, like hitting him up, blowing him up, this and that. Some men want that. Like, men want that lifestyle. So even when they're watching these podcasts, like the Andrew Tate, the Fresh and Fits of the world, they're seeing that they have this certain demeanor. Some men want to live vicariously through these other dudes. That's why you hear all these, regurgitation from the red pill movement, because dudes want to be like that in order to obtain what they want, that they have, the women in the cars, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I think men are losing themselves when they do get with women, because they want to be this Andrew Tate kind of guy. Meanwhile, she's looking at him like, you're really stupid because you're not being yourself. You're not being genuine, which is why nice guys do finish last, because they're only nice for a reason. That's why the moment I started being honest and telling the truth, especially when it came to women, I noticed that it was a different chain. Like, it was more respect. Even though they may disagree with me, they would still have the respect because I'm not to lie to them. I'm being 100% honest about everything. They actually appreciate the honesty more than
they can trust you at that point. Even if they don't like what you're saying, they know, like, this guy doesn't hold any punches. So he's telling me the truth, even if it hurts or whatever. I don't want to hear it. At least I can trust it's real.
Yeah, seriously, it's the best. It's literally the best move, because, like, my man, he never holds back ever. I was like, I never had anybody talk to me like this.
Yeah, I get it.
My life.
Right, and it's attractive. It's like refreshing, right? It's refreshing. Because you know what it is? Women, and the more beautiful the woman, the more this typically applies, are fed so much fake bullshit and lies all the time to try to get in your pants or whatever else it is, that you don't realize how, like, flooded you are with all this bullshit and lies until a real one comes along in your life, and you're like, oh my God, this is a man. Yeah, this is a guy.
And then also too, but again, take it back to that woman, on TikTok. There are women out there. I think that the feminist kind of mantra is, essentially you got women who want to be in their masculine frame. And a lot of men don't want that. Now, some people will say, oh, you're insecure because you can't handle her. It's not that. It's that if you're dating a woman who's just as masculine as the man is,
it's just not worth dealing with that.
Yeah, it's like dating himself. So why would you want to date yourself? Which is why I think men get left when they get too emotional, because women know they're emotional. So when they see another man get like that, they no longer see a leader.
Show that clip. Show that screenshot of the thing I sent you.
Yes, good call.
And then after that, I want to show you guys the thing about what Pharrell said about women. It's like his praise.
Having a mental breakdown. Chick said one line. Bro had a paragraph. He had a chapter book to come back. Oh, I hope. Can you zoom in?
You know what the best thing you can say back to that one line? Okay, cool.
I can try to hold on. Let me. Hopefully, can you guys see?
No problem.
Yeah, zoom in. Keep zooming.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
You mind reading it? I can't see it enough, but I don't need to. My screen's small.
That's as far as I can go. Cause now it's like zooming everything else but the screen.
Well, as long as you can see it and read it to us, I think it.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not downloaded. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. Basically,
So
read it out.
yeah. So there's a caption that says "All hail the patriarchy," and then somebody comment and says, "Is the patriarchy here with us right now?" And I and I
So
guess
she's
literally
like
his thing was,
not a feminist. She's like, I do lives with her all the time. She's Maria. I did a live with her a couple days, and she's like basically on this page calling these dudes out.
Nice. I like that. Good troll.
and then he says obviously, and here you are carrying a banner. You're too high on your own brand to recognize your own straw man BS. I'm a liberal man. Like I don't know why he felt the need to say I'm a liberal man. Like this guy want a theme song. I'm a liberal man. Bam. I'm a liberal man. I support the pro-choice. No, he says, I voted for gay marriage. Of course you did. And pot legalization. I also taught self-defense for 30 years and competed professionally in boxing and martial arts both. I'll beat your Trump pansy boyfriend's tushy and then and then hold the door for you afterwards so you can shove your stereotype BS right up your hoo-ha. Any idiot can confirm their personal arrogance and bias with a single example of anecdotal evidence. How about you read an effing book that wasn't written by Ann Coulter? All she said was, LMAO,
Look.
is the patriarchy here with us right now.
Look, you guys. Okay, make the screen pick again.
Gotcha.
Can you imagine having a grown man like yelling, seeing a chick, and she said one word, and the dude goes off like that? Just picture that in real life.
Yeah,
How awkward.
I've seen it.
How awkward. She said like one little trolly little thing, and he's just like, ah!
Yeah,
like,
I've seen it in real life. I've gone to protest
chill.
one thing and dude explode. I've seen both male and female. It's wild to see men go off like that. One time I went to a protest. It was a BLM protest here in Sacramento, and I remember I said they saw my hat, and it was like, you support Trump, and I was like he's not racist. What do you mean he's not racist? And he went full blown like just thing, and I was like, bro, I just say he's not racist. Like, why are you yelling? He had veins coming from his neck. I was like, I thought his hair was going to explode. It's like he's like confetti come out.
It's not that serious. It's literally not like calm down. But that's what I'm saying. That's her liberal masculine man. He's still having a temper tantrum. Like, why are you having a temper tantrum?
The fact that he had to explain that he's a self-defense martial art. When you have to explain stuff like that, that's like compensation.
Hey.
Nick, I can't hear you.
Nick, we can't hear you.
No, I can't hear you.
So bad. That's the chick. That's the liberal masculine man she's gonna get.
But do you think that all of them are like that though? All liberal men. I'm trying to play a little advocacy here. Like
no, they're not all like that. No, obviously not. That's obviously the extremes, but that's the archetype. The archetype for conservative men is like he's like living off the land. He's got his own well. He's stocking up for the apocalypse. Like he's stocking up for the apocalypse. He has like 8 guns. Stuff like that. That's the archetype, but it's not the standard. Like obviously, but it's like I just can't even imagine. I can't even imagine having to sit there listening to somebody freaking rant like that. It's like, dude, just go chill out. Like, get it together.
You're right.
Like, I don't even hear all that.
You're right about that. And that's what I mean. When you have a liberal man that rants like that to the woman, she's sitting there thinking like, I did like this guy, but now I can just use him for whatever because he's going to accept it.
Or he gets like upset. You didn't respond back to my text messages. I emailed and texted you 5 hours ago. We only went on one date. It's like, bro, whoa.
That's not going to help me. That's not going to help.
Whoa. I'm trying to have a serious relationship. Like, bro, whoa.
I just want a simple response to my text, okay? You're going to get less responses to your text, bro, acting that way.
Dude,
or you start crying.
Oh no, not even the crying part, but just the like unregulated emotional outburst is like, no, Calm down.
Here's the worst part. I don't understand.
I don't understand. Yeah, my favorite is she won't let me lead. That's my favorite.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's my
It's
favorite.
like she won't let you. Like what? What? It's like no one has a gun to your head. You can clearly
When did she castrate you, brother? When did she castrate you, my friend?
in my sleep.
I don't have the nuts to leave anymore.
It's so bad, but no, she won't let me lead.
Oh, lead.
Oh,
That's even worse, actually. That's worse than lead.
yeah.
But to say that,
Bro, you have to command leadership.
It's like no, you
Don't
have
want to
to
follow then.
It's wild, but this is the time that we're in now, 2023. We're in a time where again the 50-50. I've done a lot of interviews, and I always see people say that it should be a 50-50 thing, and I think it's because when I hear men say it should be 50-50, I think those are, and I'm just my opinion from here on out. I think those are men who are scared to actually step up and actually be more than what they're supposed to be because they get into these relationships, right? And they almost to metaphorically put it, they almost sign their life away before they even get married, and so they're giving up the masculinity in order to cater to her feminine side, or to her masculinity, essentially, not her feminine side, but her masculinity, right? So they cater to that to be this balance, when in reality, it's just there is no balance because you're both here. So who's leading who? So if you're both here, that means somebody's gonna kind of, you know what I mean? It's just constant kind of rock the boat situation.
But when you do that, what you're allowing for is the shit test of the woman to prove that you're a failure. You're a beta male, basically. So, like, subconsciously, I think women will shit test you, for lack of a better term, to determine your competence in stressful situations or whatever it may be, and see how well you can handle them. I don't even think the women are necessarily always aware that they're doing this on purpose or consciously. It's a how else would you have it made tested if you're not gonna?
I just can't stand all the dudes who bitch and moan about, oh, women do these things. They're trying to make us prove ourselves. They're trying to, like, what the hell else? Yeah, of course.
They should have you proven yourself. You should want to prove yourself.
Well, but that's actually a question I have for Layla when it comes to the red pill movement, right? Now, you're right. These men do talk about differences between male and female. They talk about what females do. Do you think it's necessary for the not just the red pill, but for men who talk about this? Do you think it's necessary for men to point out female nature and how it is in relationships, or do you think there should be a different angle when it comes to
First of all, a lot of them talk about a very specific type of woman. They talk about the things that they were able to do, like the whole thing about, oh, women are just gonna, when they're younger, they just want to have sex with dudes who, for their genetics, and they want to have a kid with the guy, and then later on find a nice guy to support the kid. I'm like, that's a very specific type of hoe. Like, none of my friends when we were 20 were like, oh, let me go give this bum. No, his money was probably the most important thing still.
Good.
Like, honestly, like, classless women behave that way. Like, the women that these guys might be able to get with behave that. That's a classless woman. She doesn't have the, like, that's the number one thing. If he doesn't have resources, what are you doing? What are we doing? We're hanging out, we're friends. Like, if you're serious about things, you need to have him being stable, you being stable. Like, there's no child bride situation happening in America. So there's no, like, I'm just going to show up and be like, oh, I just got out of rehab. Let me stay with you. That's not, like, that's not.
But do you think that?
But you have to understand, you have to understand people and how they are. But they spend a lot of time complaining about women. They complaining about why does a woman want my resources? It's like,
because you're a provisioner by nature. You're supposed to provide for her.
Because men have a monopoly of resources since the beginning of time. That's probably why. I don't know.
Maybe something like that.
Maybe, I don't know.
Layla, real quick, can I ask you? Because that reminded me of we've had a live in the past, and this is kind of a little like random, but how important would you say it is for a woman, or especially a young lady, to successfully pair bond?
How important is the pair bond?
For a young lady or a woman to pair bond successfully versus like fucked up traumatically and not be able to do that.
Again, That's okay. So there's like, I think, two major types of women. There's the women who are classless hoes, who are just going around, stacking up bodies, whatever as they say, doing whatever, just whatever. They don't have discipline. You get with them, they gain 100 pounds, yada, 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 whatever. Then there's the other one who is disciplined, who understands she needs to stay in shape. She needs to find a good guy. She needs to settle down. She needs to do all these things. So it's like, that comes with the territory. You're not like, I don't even, the pair bonding thing is just weird to me because it's like, that just sounds like a damaged person. So yeah, you don't want to be with somebody who's damaged and can't have a functional relationship.
It's important
Like,
then,
why
right?
would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you I wouldn't want to get with a guy who can't pair bond because he's so like traumatized about his ex, like, or his last 4 exes or something, because it's like, oh, each one turned out to be a coke stripper. It's like, dude, I think that was you.
I'm so I don't know what podcast do you listen to specifically that says this? I'm curious because no, for Layla, what podcast do you watch where they're complaining about women? Like who are you watching?
Well, they don't like hypergamy, right? So that's not a good thing.
Interesting.
Well, I was going to say this later.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not.
So from what I hear from these podcasts, these red pill podcasts, right? This is what I hear. As far as the women goes, right? Who she dates, and along with hypergamy, what they say is that women date up, men date down, and they don't have a problem with that. Like, all the men that I hear talk about it, they don't have a problem with hypergamy. They're okay with a woman looking for the best suitor. The problem is just that that's what they tell men. That's what they hold men accountable and say you got.
Why are men dating down?
So because men will date down because they're more likely to settle for less versus wanting more. Because when they get, for example, if a guy is not making like 100K or even more, he like an Andrew Tate, if he's not that guy, then he'll get with a girl that would take him for who he is and where he's at in life.
Okay, yeah.
Therefore, he will settle down. But the woman, she wants the top guy because she wants that guy that she have a long-term relationship with, the guy who has resources and all this stuff. Again, like I'm not saying everybody has to be Andrew Tate, but you got to be at least somebody who's stable enough to have a family down long term and things like that. You can provide and take care of the family. That's what they're looking for. So they're always looking for the best man possible. But when a man doesn't have that, he'll date down for women who will settle for that, which is fine either way. But sometimes men who settle down, they'll like that chick, but then they'll want something better. Then it ends up cheating, which is why you have these infidelities that happen in marriages or in relationships, people cheating, because when a man settles down, he may like her, but he sees another woman.
That's why you don't that's why you don't become the guy. You don't help build him because he's settling for you, and then when he gets built up, he's gonna go get what he wants, basically.
It's the same thing for women too, because for women, it's like they'll get with a guy who they like, but if they see a guy that's like better with better resources and things like that, she'll go end up looking for him.
It's all about socioeconomic status. Like, it's not anything more or less than that. But hypergamy, as I understand it, says that women typically date equal to or above their socioeconomic status because they're traditionally, not necessarily anymore, we're in like unprecedented territory. I don't even know if hypergamy would still apply in these new ways, but
only for like supermodels, like basically. It's like,
I mean, now they don't need men to provide for them and provision for them like they used to. It's not as important. And as conversely, men who didn't need women to do that for them, that's why they would date equal to or down below their socioeconomic. Now they're having to start to consider that more in the equation because, again, like we said, most people statistically can't afford to go it alone. You need 2 incomes. So it's just a totally different, unprecedented game at this point.
But even
it totally is.
When you said earlier, Layla, that the supermodels, right? I would say that I would argue. I think it's most women. You don't have to be hot or not. Even the chicks who like maybe like a 4 or 5, even those chicks are looking for the best man possible. You know what I mean? Because they have this certain, they have these preferences and standards they want and men.
Yeah, but that's both people. Both guys, like guys and girls, want both people, and guys and girls will settle for who they can get, or eventually they won't and just be single.
Right, but usually,
Right?
yeah. So usually when a woman does have to settle down, so they want the alpha, but if they can't get the alpha, they'll go for the beta. So they'll settle down. So they'll get with that guy they may like him if that beta, if the guy that they see as beta, if he doesn't like show that he's alpha, like grow into his alphaness, that's when they start to look the other direction. And then for the woman, the guy settles down. He likes her, but it's something about her that she's just not doing it for him, and so he ends up looking the other way too. So that's why you get these things. Men go for the physical, when women go for the resources.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. It shouldn't be like that, but
I mean, it is what it is. It's just whatever. People with low moral character and just people with low moral character do low moral character stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. It just seems like, yeah, it's good that you call out like the dysfunction in women, but they honestly don't really. The problem with the red pill thing is they don't really address where the dysfunction really originates from, and a lot of these women are suffering from sexual dysfunction because there's a lot of beta dudes out here being bitches. Like complaining about everything. It's like, why are you complaining about everything? Why aren't you fixing anything? Like, you can analyze it, but complaining and saying that all women, like the whole thing, like, oh, all these women have guys in their DMs. I don't have that many guys in my DMs. Like, what are you talking about? Like, this whole fantasy where it's like, oh, you just go out and it's all whatever. It's like, no, that's not how it is. That's a fantasy. That's not real.
yeah.
Like, unless you carry yourself in a certain way. Yeah, if you look like you do have sex in a parking lot, sure, you get a lot of guys. But if you look like
you get a lot of dick, but not necessarily a lot of husbands.
You get a lot of that. Yeah.
Not to push back on you, Layla, because again, I watch a lot of these contents. That's why I can kind of make the kind of the argument.
I know you do. I know you do.
The thing about that is that I think the argument is made is that women can easily get dudes in their DM versus the other way around because of how the woman looks, and like you said, how you present yourself, right? If you present yourself, let's say, Layla, you're on Instagram, right? If 100 of your pictures, or at least 50 of them, were you like at the beach and you're wearing this certain outfit,
thirst traps, yeah.
Exactly. So men will like that, and you'll get those those DMs. You know what I mean? Even if you present yourself in the videos that you do, and a man finds that attractive, maybe get that DM, and it's like, hey, are you single? Like you'll get
but
that.
is she gonna get a relationship out of it? So it's like
right. No, you're right about that. But that's what they mean is that like women can easily get DMs, whereas a man has to become something in order for him to get that DM. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but to Layla's point, they'll get DMs for dick. But are they getting DMs to get wedded?
But at the same time, it's again, you can get a huge amount of like the garbage. You can get a lot of the garbage. You can get a lot of the D. But there's only a few guys that you can get who will marry you and take care of you and treat you well. Just the same with the dudes. Like they might not be getting like these huge amount of thoughts in their DMs, but hopefully the few women they can get will be the quality women because they're quality guys, regardless of how much money they make. So it evens out in the long run.
I like that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say yes in the way it does, but with women, there's not much establishment that needs to be had. For men, there has to be. You have chicks who have like 500 followers on social media will still get a bunch of DM, but if a guy has
I'm not talking about, okay. So if the goal for men is to get the good woman, and the goal for women is to get the good man, but you might not have, it might take you might not have a huge amount of that. Like women just have a whole bunch of trash, like a whole bunch of junk mail. If there's a whole bunch of junk mail, but you still have the same amount of good quality guys, you only have 3 good quality guys out of all those like 100 DMs, let's say. And a guy might be only able to get 3 or 4 DMs, but those might be the quality women.
They'll be from interesting girls that have some sort of reason to
the,
not maybe,
the quality women that he's discerning. So it's still the same amount. It's just that women end up with this flood of trash. And I think guys can get also a flood of trash too. The low quality chicks that they don't want.
So you're saying that women get junk mail and not hunk mail? No.
Julie's always going to get a dad joke to wrap up the show, folks. You know it.
It evens out. It evens out. Like it evens out. You're not, there's those DMs, like you get 100 DMs, you're not going to get a good guy. Like it's no value. There's no value to it.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
and you can, if you pose in front of like, let's say you pose in front of a Lamborghini, you show you on the trip to Mexico, you do it, you post up a bunch of bullshit, like you're like, traveling, doing all this bullshit on your IG. Chicks might start messaging
There'll
you,
be some hoes
but
coming
are they
in.
chicks?
There'll be some hoes coming in.
Yeah, exactly. So you do the equivalent for a guy, and you'll get a whole bunch of hoes but are they going to be there visiting you in the hospital? Are they going to be there caring about you, wanting to take care of you? Are they going to be those quality women?
No, getting DMs is not the way to meet people. Like that you're going to go the distance with, most likely. Maybe it'll happen. I'm not saying, but I wouldn't be out there thinking like, this is my one. This is my one. It's probably going to be a lot of garbage coming through there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it evens out at the end. So it evens out. It's not that it's this unfair advantage.
Yeah.
It evens out.
I like that. I never thought of that.
You can do the same thing.
No,
I do the same thing.
I never thought of that.
I do see what you mean, and before we wrap up, I do see what you mean. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying about the red pill, though, was that they do talk about this stuff. Like when you watch all the clips on Instagram and wherever you see that, like you see like the Fresh and Fit clip, the Andrew Tate clip, whatever. You see all these certain clips that make them look a certain way, but when you watch the full podcast, I mean, it's hours. It's a lot, 3-4 hours. I watch all that just so I can have the context and the knowledge to know. Mm-hmm. They do have great, genuine conversations. They talk about family. They do all this stuff. Myron actually talks about dudes. He holds them accountable, what they shouldn't do. But those things don't get shared. It's when he's like kicking out females or owning a lib, if you will. Those get shared, but not the ones where he's talking about what men should do to get a depression, about family. Those things don't get shared, but yet the other stuff does, which is really unfortunate. Yeah, so a lot of the red pill, even when like people like Stoss, right? Value, Time, and Money, fantastic conversations all the time, but you only see the certain clip where the women looks dumb. That's why there's now the conversation, which I'm going to talk about pretty soon, about is the red pill podcast making women look dumb? And I don't think it is, because I think when you spread that message of it makes women look dumb, it makes it seem like, and maybe they are like getting these certain women to be on their shows, but at the end of the day, like you said earlier, it all depends on how you present yourself. If you're a woman who looks dumb but you present yourself very smart, very intellectual, people will see you a whole lot differently. But if you're on there and you say something that doesn't make any sense, people click that and share it on social media, it's going to look like the red pill just gets these bimbo women because they're not able to think for themselves. When in reality, there are women that do have intellect, but again, they don't share those conversations. And when they do, it's all about trying to own somebody. It's this constant whose stick is bigger kind of thing. Like, for example, Lila Rose on whatever podcast, when she was going against Jeremy Waller, it said, conservative women owns alpha man. And it's like, it wasn't that at all. She was just basically asking him, why have multiple women? Why not just give your heart to one guy? He said, I'm not wired that way. And he called her annoying at one point. He said, he lost his cool. I did think it was a L take from Justin. But nonetheless, I think it was a good conversation because they did talk about family. But again, those conversations don't get showed. I showed the full context of that, but people don't see that. So that's the problem with that thing with the red pill. People get confused by it because they see these clips and go, Myron's a misogynist. But then you watch the full conversation and go, I actually appreciate that conversation because they're talking about family. They're talking about what men should do, what women should do. That's why I highly recommend people watch, shameless plug, people should watch our last podcast that Nick and I did when we reacted to Fresh and Fit on Sauce is a podcast. That was good stuff. And what Myron was saying, Nick and I broke that down. I think it made a lot of sense what he was saying, especially when he was arguing with Destiny's wife, Melina. So that was like good stuff. That's where you can really see the differences between male and female. And I would just say this before we keep going. There's always going to be differences between male and female. That's number one. We have differences, whether it's physical, what we do in sports, in relationships, in business. There's always going to be differences. The problem is that there's this equality that women tend to want. We want to be equal just like the man, but it can never happen, which is why you see women in these jobs becoming CEOs and boss babe, because they want to be up there with the man in competition. Then when they get into these relationships, They want a man that is equal to them, if not more. A man who makes just as much money as them, or if not more money than them, because they want to be at that status, right? And so that's why. And then with those men, the red pill is saying those kind of guys are going to be the guys that are going to step out every now and then, have a different woman, but still be faithful to you, which I don't really understand that. But that's what it is, because they have the money now, they have the networking, they're out there, they have the status, right? So now that makes a woman, when she gets older, to settle down, because she's so on her career at a young age. By the time she gets older and she's still making that kind of a whole bunch of money, and she wants that certain guy is going to come with cheating. And so if she doesn't want that, then she'll have to settle down for a man that's not like that.
I can tell you, poor guys cheat too.
True, but
I think
that's just how it is in that space. So
the best thing that I take from what you just brought up, dude, is that we all on the internet should be very cautious about how we digest media, because it can be cut and totally taken out of context in a way that is exactly opposite of how you should have perceived it if you saw the whole thing or whatever. So,
well, if I'm to be honest, Layla's propaganda fluent. Over the time I've seen your content, Layla, it actually has helped me to kind of see things from a different perspective and not be so reactionary. Because I find myself still becoming reactionary to certain things. You're just like, oh my God, it's so, why is it
visceral.
like this?
It pulls it out of you. They do it on purpose. They're really good at it.
Yeah, it's all polarizing. That's the problem. The red pill movement has a lot of valid things, but the polarizing things and the whole all women just want your money. It's like, okay, and she wants your money, and what? Who cares?
It's to us against them, rather than trying to figure that out for good causes to work together.
Like, what difference does that make? Why does it bother you? It's like, it's so weird.
I want my woman to care about how much I make, because it's a sign of how much I can take care of.
Well, I don't want my guy to like objectify me and just want me for the fact that I look a certain way. That's no, I want to. So it's like, I don't know. It's just over the top. It's just too polarizing. It's just extremes. It's like, just chill down and be good people and be a human being and work on yourself, and it should work out. But if you want to be like these Insta Thoughts or Andrew Tate, I'm sure it's not going to end up well.
I actually like Andrew Tate, though. I watch a lot of
No, I like Andrew Tate a lot. I do.
I like
I'm saying like the
whole...
No, I'm saying the whole like fast car. Just
you want to be like Andrew Tate when you're not Andrew Tate. You have no money and shit. You're just trying to pretend.
Yeah. Like just fast cars. Just superficial, like that type of dude. We don't have any guy like that now, other than him. So.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like? Do you think that's, I don't want to say a problem, but do you think like there is something to say to that? Because what does it say that a lot of men can't get to that status? I mean, like, why is it only a 1% of men that can do it? Why can't all men?
I don't know. That's for you men to figure out, because you're competing with each other.
Great answer. Hey, that's a great wrap up too. If we could, I have to go to the bathroom really bad, guys. I hate to say it.
This has been so long. This has been
age
really
of men. We're like age of piss.
Oh my God!
No, but for real, folks, we try to bring nuanced discussions on the age of men. We're trying to have people that actually are really informed on the female side, not just like a red pill situation. Yeah, age of piss. I'm trying to roll over that, Julius. I'm trying to gloss it out.
You guys are like high school. Like, you guys are totally like high school boys. It's so cute.
That's the fun with Greg to it. That's the dumb nuance that I'm talking about.
I'm just like, anyway.
We tell dumb dick jokes, and Julius is starting an OnlyFans, ladies. You heard it here first, and just we try to just have some fun for complex topics, because oftentimes, like you were saying, it's polarized and it's literally contentious. It gets to a point where you start to feel like, are you guys even trying to like get with women anymore? It sounds like you kind of hate them.
The whole women will never love you like your friends will and shit like that. I'm like, that's some weirdo shit. Like,
I think there's something to be said to that, but it's a conversation for a different time. I will say this: I would love to get my Chad Jackson on every single day and just be that intelligent. And I like Chad. I want to get him on this podcast, if not on my YouTube. I want to get him on for sure. But with this podcast, we try to just make it lighthearted sometimes. That's why I say things like age of piss. It's just like a lighthearted thing.
No, I get it.
I mean, it's too serious sometimes. You gotta make it lighthearted. But so Layla, if I can ask you, kind of make this proposition right now, is it possible to get you on my YouTube channel and do like a one-on-one interview with you. Just talk
Which
about
YouTube? Oh,
today
okay.
today with Julius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure,
So
I could
far,
do one of those.
yeah. So far, I think I interviewed Liddell. I think I'm not sure. I don't know if I did Liddell. I'm not sure, but I know I interviewed Anomaly. That was pretty cool. That was fun.
That was dope. That was a really good show.
Yeah, and then I interviewed Angela as well. That was pretty cool. So if you want to come on the Table with Julius show, I'd love to talk to you and actually have a more in-depth conversation about like the culture, and I want to talk more about your propaganda fluent. Like I want to really dive in like to that, kind of understand your mind.
And how about propaganda culture? Quick shameless self-promotion.
Oh yeah, this Tuesday.
I'm trying to get Nick on too. I want to get
This
Nick on
Tuesday.
my YouTube as well. So I gotta get you Nick on. I gotta get you on too, Layla. So,
Well, we'll come on to promote our new brand, our show. That's going to be maybe a weekly feature on Tuesday, folks. Propaganda culture.
Yeah.
Each of us will come on and have to do a little promo run on the Today with Julius podcast.
Are you busy this week, Layla?
I don't think this week would work. Yeah, I think I'm going out of town on the 23rd or the 27th. So, yeah, like next week.
Can we resolve the scheduling after? I really have to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, everybody.
Thank you, Layla.
That is our show. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Everything we talked about, let us know what you guys think. We have so much to say. Comment below. We appreciate you guys' engagement with the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us on all other social media platforms.
Remember, these hoes ain't loyal.
These hoes ain't loyal.
Oh no.
Always remember that number one rule: these hoes ain't loyal.
Find the chick who looks like she has no standards. That is the one.
Real quickly, look, where can the folks find you at? Where can they watch your content?
Oh, I mean, you can find me on Propaganda Fluent on YouTube, and I've got a locals. It's like OnlyFans, except no ass, so it's great. It's just me talking. You get like all the best stuff. You can like be talking without any ass. It's great. Like,
wait, I won't be bombarded by ass like I am on Instagram and everywhere else that I try to avoid. Yes, yeah. I actually love that.
Interesting. All right. And then, of course, you guys can follow us on social media platform. I'm on everywhere today with Julius. You can find Nick, C3 Nick. Look us all up. We appreciate you guys for watching. God bless you guys, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care. Have a good one, guys.